This video is packed with fun, easy Dollar Tree DIY crafts. Let's get to it. So we're going to start using some of these with one of these circles that I found at the Dollar Tree several months back. I already used one of them, but I'm going to remove one more, and we are going to then take everything from it, including the staples. We're just going to sand it down just a little bit, the edges, and roughen up the front to make sure it'll adhere to the vinyl. We're going to wipe it well, and then we're going to use some of Dollar Tree vinyls you can find year-round in different colors and even textures. We're going to take a pink one that I have at home, and I'm going to cover it up. Now, you can paint it also, or you can paint it with one coat and then cover it with vinyl. This pink vinyl is pretty light, so you can see the design underneath. So I did have to put 3 layers of vinyl. Very simple, just remove the back, place it on top, remove any bubbles, and then sand down the edges. You can also cut it with an X-Acto knife, but I have found that sanding it in a downward motion really removes that vinyl and it smooths down the edges. So I'm just going to add the third one and do the same thing. These beautiful stickers have a rounded look to them. I love using these. They have a very feminine, kind of chic style. And I'm just going to pick one that I think will look really well. And it already has a little sticky pad to the back. You can always add a little bit of hot glue, which I will in next projects. But for this one, it'll stick just perfectly to the vinyl. We're going to place the remaining stickers right onto the little packaging again. And now we're going to bring in this yarn. I found this recently at Walmart. This huge roll was under $9. I thought it was a great deal. I'm going to roll it around one of these scrapers because we're going to create a little tassel. Then I'm going to take another piece of the yarn, thread it through underneath, kind of like in between the yarn, and then we're just going to tie it in the knot. Once you have it tied in a knot, then we're going to take another piece of yarn, and we're going to tie it, leaving it about maybe an inch from the top. And that way we're going to create a nice shape of a tassel. Then we're going to open up all the little circles, just the little ones on the bottom, and then cut everything so that each of them have the same length. That's it. Now we're going to take that remaining yarn from the top and we're going to thread it through a wood bead. I have these at home, but you can find them at Dollar Tree as well as Amazon and Walmart. I push the bead all the way to the top of the tassel, and then we are going to place it on the back of the wood round. We're going to hot glue it in place, but I decided to add more tape. This is just by preference. I think the hot glue would have been sufficient, but just to make sure, I did add some tape. Now we're going to thread more beads to the top portion, but you see these here. Now this came from the original piece that I used. I'm just going to remove those because they have different shapes. And I'm going to add one more larger bead, and I thought it was so cute. I'm going to start with the largest one, thread the yarn through, and then move on to the medium size and then the 2 small ones. This is going to create that nice cone look. I don't want it to be too tight, so I'm just going to wiggle it around until I see what I want, and then we're just going to tie it in the knot on the top, and that's it. Such an easy craft. This would be great hanging on a door handle or even just placing it on a console table. What do you think of this one? Let me know. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, I'm going to start with this beautiful pink jar. Now, if you don't have a pink jar, you can use any one you find at Dollar Tree. I'm also going to use a piece of dowel that I already had at home. This foam is from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to start cutting it in a round shape, wide enough so that it fits to the top of the jar, but not too small where it's going to fall through. Once I have the shape, I am going to poke the dowel right through the foam and then place it inside the jar, and then just kind of tightening down and really wedging that foam inside. I secured everything with hot glue, that way it's not going to move on me. Now I'm going to take a foam ball. You can find these at Dollar Tree. They come 2 in a pack. I'm going to poke it right onto the opposite side of the dowel. Once I had it where I poked it, then I'm going to remove it and I'm going to add hot glue and place it right back on. Again, this is just going to allow it to really stick together. I'm going to take some reindeer moss from Dollar Tree and we're going to cover the entire ball by simply adding hot glue and then adding the moss. Just take your time, be careful not to get burned, and then just cover the entire thing. Once you have it covered, just pack it in nice and sweet. And then we're going to find some florals. Now, these I had at home. These are from previous seasons from Dollar Tree. I'm just going to cut them and I'm going to start placing them. At first, I thought I would add different types of flowers. So I'm going to show you the entire process, but I actually ended up removing these. But again, I just want to show you. So these are the ones that I'm actually going to stick with, but these are a beautiful curl tone. They really pull with that pink jar. I think it's gorgeous. I'm just going to cut them and just start placing them inside the foam. This is when I decided to just remove them. I grabbed another pick with the same flower tones and I'm just going to start again, continuing to add them here and there. I'm not worried about it being completely covered because I do like the way that moss kind of looks. I'm going to take some jute string and I'm just going to wrap it around 4 of my fingers. I'm going to tie it in the center with another piece of jute string. And then we're going to create a very country kind of style bow, fluff it up a little bit and just tie it around the neck of the bottom of the doll. This beautiful sticker set is from Dollar Tree. I already had it on hand. I'm going to use this one right here. I think it's gorgeous. It has the pink undertones that really pull from the entire design. And it has 2 stickies in the back. And we're just going to place it right in the front. I'm going to add some greenery leaves. These are just from the picks that I had on hand. I'm just hot gluing them to where the bow ends. And that way it's just going to cover up any glue and the foam from the jar. Look how gorgeous this is. It's one of my favorites. But let me know what you think. For this next Dollar Tree sticker DIY craft, I'm going to take this beautiful craft paper. Now, this came out of a book that I got. I believe it was Hobby Lobby or Michael's. And I'm just going to fold it that way. So we're going to turn it around into like a diamond shape. And we're going to fold the bottom corner all the way to where it goes about 2 inches past the midsection. I'm going to use my scraper to really fold it very tightly. And then I am going to take the sides and I am going to fold it inwards, making sure the bottom aligns and making sure that the corner goes just past that middle section. Same thing with the other side. We're going to create an envelope. Fold it, make sure it aligns, and that it goes past the middle section, just like that. We're going to do the same thing to the top. We're going to bring it down, we're going to fold it, and then use the scraper to really make sure those creases are nicely folded. Open everything up, and now we're going to cut those middle sections where both folds met. We're going to cut that off because we want those corners not to be so bulky. So I'm going to do the same thing on all 4 sides. And now that they're cut, it's going to fold very nicely and it's not going to be so bulky on the sides. Now we want to trim some of these edges here. So these are just the 2 sides. We're going to trim some of the top. We're going to go from the corner to where it meets the top portion of the envelope and we're going to cut that off. Again, we're just cleaning off edges and sides. That way it's going to fold nice and pretty. I did the same thing on the other side. And now when you fold it, it's just going to look nice and clean and very neat. Now we want to remove that middle portion. So once I have it folded, I'm just going to mark with my pencil. And we're going to remove that portion again just to clean it off. You can use an X-Acto knife, but scissors work really well. Now that it's folded, it's looking so nice. All right, so now we're going to take some double-sided tape. I get this at on Amazon, but you can find at Dollar Tree as well. I'm just going to fold it onto itself, and the 2-sided tape, it's going to hold it in place. So just add tape wherever you need it, making sure that it's not going to glue to the inside of the envelope, just the outside, just like that. Once again, we're going to clean off some of these edges, just make them nice and neat. And we're going to remove some of the sides of this, and we're just going to cut it again with the scissors. Now it's time to add something on the inside. Now I wanted to add maybe like a letter or something to it, but I decided to just go ahead and grab one of these doilies. Recently I did a Christmas video and it had doilies and I had some left over. I'm going to cut one of the smaller ones in half and then cut off one of the sides to make it nice and flat so it fits inside. This is just so that we can add something on the inside, but by all means you can add a letter, you can add anything you want to the inside. You can even add florals, which I think would be gorgeous. I'm going to use the same double-sided tape just to secure the doilies in place. And it looks so chic. I love it. All right, so now we're going to bring in this beautiful sticker set from Dollar Tree. It has just so many designs. this would be great for scrapbooking or even card making. So I'm going to take the one that says heart and I'm going to place it right there in the center of the envelope, looking gorgeous. Holy moly. All right, so now we're going to poke a hole to the top with my hole puncher and we're going to take some of this lacy ribbon from Dollar Tree. We are going to make a very simple bow. Again, we're going to keep it pretty simple. Once I have it in the shape and size that I want, I'm just going to cut off the ends and then we're going to thread more ribbon right through the hole, make a very simple knot in the top, and then we're going to hot glue the bow right underneath the little hole. That way it'll be nice and simple and so sweet and beautiful. This is one of my favorites. I love the craft paper and that heart sticker is stunning. It has a metallic golden look. Love, love, love. What do you think of this one? For the next Dollar Tree sticker DIY craft, I'm going to take another craft paper from another book. We're going to start cutting it. Okay, so I want to cut them in 2.5 inches wide. Now the first one, I don't know why I cut it into 3 inches. So just cut it in 2.5. It makes for a much better size bookmark, but you can do it whatever you want. We're going to make some bookmarks. I love making bookmarks because they're easy, versatile, and they're great for gift giving and actually as party favors. So once I cut them all into 2.5 inches wide, I did cut them into 8 inches long. And then I marked where I wanted to cut on the edges at the top just to angle them. For the first bookmark, I'm going to take these flower stickers. They are gorgeous. They'll be great for spring and summer. And I'm just going to start placing different colors, different sizes in different places. Now, if they overlap the edges, you can either leave like that, but I decided to cut them and clean it off really well. I'm going to take this beautiful jute string. It's like a baker's twine, actually. I'm just going to tie it again around my fingers, and then we're going to make a very simple bow, fluff it up, and then we are going to place more string right through the hole that we punched in the top and hot glue the little bow right in front. So cute. All right, for the next one, we're going to flip it over, and we're going to use the dark side. These stickers are gorgeous. I've used it in the past. They have this beautiful flower arrangement one. We're going to place it right towards the bottom left corner of the bookmark. Now I had a butterfly left over. It had a metallic finish. I tilted it to the top and isn't that gorgeous? Oh my. All right, I'm going to take some of this white jute string from Amazon. I'm going to make another very simple bow, wrap it around, scrunch it in the middle, tie it with more jute string, and then we are going to thread more string through the hole, tie it in the knot, and then hot glue the bow right underneath. So simple, so easy, and so beautiful. For the third bookmark, we're going to make a fun one. We're going to take this beautiful sticker set. We are going to place the little banner. We're going to cut it in half and we're going to tilt them one to each side and it's going to look so cute. Then we're going to take the Be Happy sticker, place it in the middle, and then some flower ones through the bottom. For this one, we're going to take some black jute string. We're going to do the same thing, my friends. We're just going to roll it around, tie it in the center with some jute string, cut off any excess. Again, punch a hole to the top, thread more jute string through it, make a knot, and then hot glue the bow. We're going to keep them pretty simple, but also similar to each other. I mentioned earlier this would make a great party favor. I think it would make a fantastic party favor. You can personalize them in the back. How fun. For the last one, this one is perfect for those guys in your lives. We are going to just make it very simple on the dark side again. This beautiful sticker has a farmhouse look. That's all we're going to put on it. We're going to take some black jute string, some white jute string, as well as some natural tone jute string. And we are going to thread it through the hole. We're not even going to make a bow, friends. We're just going to tie it in the knot, keep it simple and very kind of like manly, you know. And then we're just going to, again, cut off any excess from the jute string. And that's it. These bookmarks are gorgeous. You can gift them as a set, or you can gift them individually or keep them for yourself, whatever you want. Definitely one of my favorites, but what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. We're going to start with the larger one, remove the sticker, and we're going to give it a quick dusting scrub. They get a little dusty sitting on the shelf sometimes, so just wipe them well. I'm going to remove the cap from it. We're going to put that to the side because we're not going to need it. I'm going to give it a couple of coats of this beautiful pink tone chalk paint by Rust-Oleum. I love, love, love this pink. It's very soft and neutral and is one of my favorites. I give it a couple of coats. I was not looking for perfection. While that's dry, I'm going to take these two craft papers. They have different designs, but they complement each other really nicely. I cut off a square and I am going to cut off about a half an inch from each side, and I'm literally just going to tear it. I want to see that torn look on the edges. So I'm going to do that on all sides. I'm going to cut off another square from the other design, and this time we're just going to lightly fold it without causing a crease, and then we're going to cut off the shape of a heart. So just use your scissors and just cut it a half heart, and then you're going to have a full heart. Once you open it up, it's nicely and even. We're going to attach this to the front of the piece of paper, and we're going to do it using some double-sided tape. I get these tape at Amazon, and I do have it in my Amazon store, which is linked down below if you're interested. I'm going to damp a little bit of this towel, and I'm just going to wet distress the jar. You don't have to do this if you do not like the distress look. I wanted to give it a little bit of a worn and torn style, so I'm just going to start rubbing some of the paint off here and there, and then we are going to take my crocodile. If you do not have a crocodile, you can use a hole puncher, but crocodiles are on Amazon, and I do have it on my Amazon store as well. I'm going to poke 2 holes just like that, just so that they can hang like this, and the heart is going to be in a tilted motion. I'm going to take some jute string and wrap it around the jar right on top on the thread, and then I'm going to thread the jute string each end through each hole and make a very simple bow in the front. And then once you have the bow in the size you want, just cut off the excess string from the bottom. Now we are going to take these tiny little flowers and just hot glue them right there in the center, keeping it simple, keeping it very feminine. I love this style, such a relaxed style. This hydrangea is gorgeous. It's from Walmart. I don't remember the price, but I love, love, love the colors, and I think it complements the entire design very nicely. Boy, is this a very beautiful, romantic Valentine's Day craft. What do you think of it? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree mason jar craft, we're going to take another one of the larger ones, and we're going to remove the cap. We are going to again dust it, again just to remove any dust, and then we are going to take this beautiful wrapping paper. Now this one is from Home Goods. I found this in clearance at the end of the Valentine's Day season. Originally was $2.99 and I got it for 50% off. Great deal. The quality of this paper is amazing. I cut off a piece that it's about maybe 8 inches wide, and I'm just going to roll it in the opposite direction so that it removes that curve that it had. Then I'm going to tear some pieces from the sides where again we're looking for that torn look, and I'm going to do that to the top and the bottom until I have a size that fits my jar. So just keep looking and measuring and tearing until you have the size that you need. If you do not like the torn look, don't do it. Just cut it. It is okay. Now, once I had a size that fits, I'm going to take some drop cloth and I'm going to cut off a piece. Now, drop cloth, if you tear it, it leaves this frayed, torn look that I love. So I'm just going to keep tearing until I have a size that fits inside of the wrapping paper, but you can still see some of the design in the back. So once I had that, we are going to wrap everything around the mason jar. To attach the wrapping paper, I'm going to use some of that double-sided tape. And we're going to wrap it around and then just fold it. That way it'll attach nicely. Then we are going to attach the drop cloth, but this time we're going to do it using hot glue. So we're going to start where the seam of the wrapping paper is and wrap it around the jar, making sure that it's centered to the wrapping paper. Doesn't that already look so beautiful? Now you can leave it as is, but I decided to add some jute string. So I'm just going to cut off a piece that's long enough to go around the jar, maybe 3 or 4 times, give or take. I'm going to do that, and then we're going to tie it in a very simple bow again in the front of the jar. So just make sure that you size the bow whatever size you want. Now I'm going to bring in that piece of craft paper that we used earlier in my hard hole puncher. I get these on Amazon. They come in a pack, and it is in my Amazon store with different shapes, and you just want to use it as a hole puncher. And then once you cut out the design, it is on the bottom. You open it up and you have a cute little heart sign. Oh my gosh, I love, love, love this. And it comes with different shapes, so it is linked below. We're going to hot glue it right to the center of the bow. And then we're going to bring in these hearts. These are felt sticker hearts that you can find at Dollar Tree. And for this one, we're going to use a small pink one because they come in different sizes and colors. Remove the back and place it at a tilted angle right in front of that other heart. Look how cute that looks. And it really complements the wrapping paper nicely. These beautiful vibrant flowers are from Dollar Tree. We're going to cut off the stem. We're going to place them right inside. And this other one that I don't know where it came from, but it looks pretty. But look how gorgeous this is. Again, the simplicity, so romantic, so feminine. Love, love, love this piece. What do you think of this one? Let me know down in the comments. I'm going to start with one of these wooden hearts. Now, of course, you can use this for Valentine's Day, but you can also really make this into a spring decor, and I'm going to show you how. I'm going to spray adhesive this beautiful craft paper. This craft paper came from a book that I purchased at Hobby Lobby quite a bit ago. I sprayed one coat, and then I'm just going to place the paper right on top, flattening it out. Then I'm going to use my sanding block, and I'm just going to sand downward the excess paper. This is going to smooth out those edges, remove the paper, and I'm also going to use a nail filer to remove the ones in the tight corners. I'm going to use this burlap ribbon. Is gorgeous. This one is actually from Dollar General. I'm just going to place in the middle with a little bit of a tilt, and I'm going to hot glue it in place. Then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to cut very closely to the edge of the heart to give it that nice rounded shape. I am now going to use this beautiful pink velvet ribbon from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to hot glue it right in the center, keeping the same angle. I'm going to cut off the edges, again really close to the edge, and then we're going to bring this burlap polka dot one from Dollar Tree as well and place it right on top. Gorgeous. I love layering things, and I love layering ribbon. Again, we're going to cut off the excess in the nice rounded shape. This flower came from last year's stash. I removed the stem from it, and I'm just going to add hot glue to the edge as well as the center, and we're just going to place it right there towards the right side of the heart. Beautiful. These green leaves are just extra ones that I had left over from other picks. I'm going to hot glue one towards the top and another one towards the bottom. It's just going to add a pop of color and freshness to the entire design. And then I'm going to add a little piece of burlap ribbon to the back. We're just going to loop it, hot glue it in place. And so that it looks nice and clean, I'm going to add another piece of that velvet pink ribbon just to kind of, I don't know, clean it up. But I think it looks gorgeous, my friends. Wow. This is definitely one of my favorites from today. I love the textures. I love the design. But what do you think of it? Let me know down in the comments. For this next spring Dollar Tree DIY craft, I'm going to take this heart-shaped wreath form. You can find these during the Valentine's Day season or leading to it. We're going to cut up several of these burlap ribbon. This one is from burlapfabric.com, but you can use Dollar Tree's burlap ribbon as well. I'm going to cut these into 6 inches long, and then I'm going to stack them together, and I'm just going to dovetail cut the ends. I cut enough to go around the wreath form, but don't worry if you don't cut enough. Just start with a small amount and then just add more if you need to so you don't waste any ribbon. Now I'm going to just thread them through the outward portion of the wire, and we're going to loop it and hot glue it to itself, just like that. And we're going to do that all around the heart, all around the outside perimeter. If you get to a place where you have a wire in between, don't worry. All you got to do is just kind of look where you need to make a slit, and you just slit one side, and then you can just hot glue it one on each side of the wire, just like that. We're going to do it again in a little bit, and I'll show you. So we're going to finalize this last layer, and then we're going to bring in some nautical rope from Dollar Tree. This is the white kind. You can find this year round. We're going to wrap around the 2 middle wire portion. This took me a little bit, and it's okay. I just put on a movie or some music, and you just start wrapping it around. The key here is to hot glue as needed, especially in the ones that have an angle or also rounded. But just take your time and start wrapping it around. So we have the entire middle portion now wrapped up. Now we're going to take this beautiful Dollar Tree heart ribbon. we're going to cut it into 7-inch strips. Again, just cut a few, and if you need more, then cut more. We're then going to do the same thing we did earlier. We're going to fold it, and we're going to dovetail cut those ends because we want it to match the design of the other ribbon. And then we're going to attach it to the wreath, but this time we're going to do it on the back side of the wreath. So I cut each ribbon in half, just like you see there, and I'm going to start hot gluing. Now I'm going to start in the top, and I'm going to make sure that each layer overlaps to the next one just a little bit. It doesn't have to overlap much. Just a little bit will do, and I did that all around the heart. So we're just about done adding the red ribbon. Now, as you can tell, the design is on the back of the wreath. This is because we're not going to pull them forward, just like that. And I'm going to use my scissors. The ones that are behind a wire, I'm going to show you because we're going to cut those again. So I'm going to keep pulling them so that we can reveal the beautiful design on top of the burlap. Now, the ones with the wire in between is the same thing as earlier. We're just going to make a slit right where we need to, right where the wire is, and then you're going to pull it forward. And I'm going to do it again twice so you can see it. Right there, we're going to cut right where that wire is, and then we're going to pull it forward. And one more time, we're just going to make a cut to the ribbon where the wire is and then pull it forward. It's so easy, and it just makes things so much easier because you don't have to worry about making sure it fits. All right, so now we're going to add some leaf. Again, these are just extra ones that I've had from other pigs. I'm going to add 3 of these darker green tones, one for the bottom to the top, and then one towards the outside of the upper right side corner. Then I'm going to add these lighter tone green leaves just right on top. It doesn't matter. And then this beautiful, it has like a deep red, kind of like a pinkish tone, but I love how it complements everything and it brings everything together. And this wreath is absolutely gorgeous. How romantic, how simple, how easy, and how fun. Let me know what you think of this one. For this next spring DIY craft, I'm going to take this beautiful little wooden house. You can find these at Dollar Tree pretty much year-round. Maybe not this exact one, but similar ones. My first attempt was to remove the rim with my heat gun and a little spatula. That did not work. This thing is attached quite a bit, so I just let it be. We're going to make it work. Now we're going to take different types of spring tone ribbons from Dollar Tree. And I'm going to use my little spatula to just kind of press and make cuts. I want to make sure that the cuts are very, very flush to the rim because I was not able to remove it. So we're going to add this beautiful teal color burlap style ribbon. And this is where you can get as creative as you want, my friend. Okay, so put it wherever you want. Use whatever ribbon you want, whatever thickness, whatever style, whatever colors. I'm just going to cover the entire middle section using my little spatula to just kind of tell me where I need to cut, make cuts, hot glue, and have fun. I'm going to speed this up quite a bit, okay? But basically, it's very repetitive. You just grab a ribbon, make cuts as needed, hot glue it, and use whatever design you want. All right, so we're just about done with covering the center, and I'm going to add some greenery. I love greenery. If you follow me for a while, you know that. I'm just going to add a little bit of embellishments, add greenery to the bottom left corner, and hot glue it in place. And then these cute little gnomes have a beautiful Easter style. We're going to hot glue it right there to the center. Now, so that we can stand the little house, I want to trim off some of those leaves from the bottom just to kind of fix it there. And that's it. What a beautiful, such an easy craft anyone can make. Perfect for spring, perfect for Easter. What do you think of this one? Let me know. We are going to remove the tag, of course, and then we are going to take this fun candle holder you can find at Dollar Tree. They have all different kinds, so whatever you find, use that. I thought it complemented that they are both white. I'm going to hot glue a piece of foam. Now, this foam has had better days. I'm just going to cut off a piece. No one's going to see it. Hot glue it to the top of the candle holder and then hot glue the wire basket on top of the foam. Add a lot of glue, okay? Once you add it, then add more. And then just hold it. Literally hold it until it hardens on you, because that way it's not going to tilt. All right, these awesome napkins are perfect for spring and Easter. They come 4 in a pack at Dollar Tree Plus, and they are $3. I'm going to iron it out just a little bit to remove some of those wrinkles. And then we are going to take the basket, which is now nice and sturdy, and we are going to add some greenery in between the basket and the candle holder. So I'm just going to poke a hole, add glue, and then keep adding greenery. Now you can add whatever florals you want. I decided on greenery because there's going to be a lot of color on the basket itself. So the greenery worked really well, and I did that all the way around. Add as much or as little as you want, is up to you. Once it was completely covered, you can see how cute that looks. We're going to place the napkin right inside the basket. Now, this is when you can be creative. Depends on what you want to do with the basket, okay? Now, Dollar Tree has all kinds of Easter little goodies, like these little brush trees that you can find at Christmas, but also Easter. I'm going to start making an arrangement that I can use as a centerpiece, but you can use this also as a gift. I'm going to add these little bunnies that you can find at Dollar Tree Plus in a garland. Remove a couple of them from the garland, add some greenery from Dollar Tree, and keep adding things here and there, little carrots or whatever you want, just to make it fun and festive. And again, you can even add candy if you can use it as an Easter basket. These little carrots, okay, now they have these little greenery on top. They're not the cutest in my opinion, so I'm just going to remove it and hot glue this little faux boxwood. Just adds so much more character. Love, love, love the way it turned out. These eggs are so custom looking. I love them. I used them recently in another project with some skewer sticks. So I'm just going to use those again, and I'm going to cut off whatever excess stick that I need and stick them right inside. Again, to add height, add color, texture. Look how gorgeous this is. This will look great on a table, console table, mantle, or again, even as a gift. What do you think of this one? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to start with this beautiful wood blank from Dollar Tree Plus. It's $5, and I love that it's nice and thick and sturdy. We're going to cut off everything from it, including the jute string. And at first, my thought was to make a little serving tray, which would be perfect for it. But then I changed my mind. But I wanted to show you because I added these little felt pads on the bottom, one in each corner, just to create a nice soft placement. But then I changed my mind, so I still wanted to show you why I added those felt pads. All right, I am going to sand down the surface and the edges to smooth things out. And then we're going to stain it using the Rust-Oleum chalked glaze in the smoked tone. It's just like a grayish tone. So I'm just going to use my glove and a rag and just starting applying it. And then it's just going to apply and remove any excess all at once. Once completely dry, I'm going to bring in this stencil. This is from Essential Stencil, and it has a chicken wire design on it. I'm going to start stenciling it using one of my favorite stenciling brushes. If you do not have a stenciling brush, I highly recommend this one. I have it on my Amazon store if you want to check it out. I'm going to stencil it white, but of course you can use any color you want, and I'm just going to do the entire thing from one side to the other. Look how good that looks. All right, we're bringing in another stencil. This one has 2 stencils in one. I love this one that says Country Roads Take Me Home. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to stencil one word on top of each other. And we are going to do it in the Waverly chalk pen and the ink. The way I like to stencil is you take the stencil brush, dip it in the paint, remove any excess paint just so that there's a little bit of paint, and then start doing it more like a dry brush technique, around and around, not pressing hard on the surface at all. This will give you a clean look that is going to look very professional. So we're almost done with the stenciling, and look how cute it looks. The colors are really good with each other. All right, so here's this tiny little basket. It's actually for a desk organizer. We are going to place it right there on the bottom left-hand corner. Mark where we need to drill a couple of holes because we need to attach it. And I'm going to use a zip tie to attach it. So we're going to thread the zip tie from the back to the front, through the basket, and then all the way to the back again. And then we're going to tie it and cut off any excess in the back. We're going to add hot glue to the inside of the basket and add one of these half foam balls right there in the center. We're going to add moss. This is Spanish moss. I get this one on Amazon, but you can use Dollar Trees as well. And then we're going to place hot glue in this cute little succulent from Dollar Tree right there in the center. Now, I do want to add nautical rope to the back so we can hang it. This is the white kind, and I'm just going to add it right there on the outside of the, on the back of the design, and then that way it'll be nice and even. And look how adorable this looks. It's definitely one of my favorites. You can use this year round, and you can even change the florals if you like. What do you think? Let me know. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to start with one of these wreath forms in the shape of a bunny. We're also going to be removing the tag and using a towel. This is from Dollar Tree in the automotive aisle. Now, if you have multiple towels, you can just use the whole thing as is. I like to cut mine in little strips because it makes it go a lot longer and further. So we are going to cut them in about 2-inch strips, and then we're going to use it to wrap around the entire frame. Now I'm going to do the ears first and start on one end and then keep going until the entire wreath form is covered. This basket is gorgeous. I love the design and I love the color. Now they come in different shades, but I thought the pink would be perfect for an Easter themed decor. So we're going to attach the basket in front of the bunny form, okay? So we are going to take some more zip ties and then we're going to use a small little screwdriver, poke holes, and then thread the zip tie right through it. This is going to allow me to be able to attach it to the basket. Now, I didn't know if it was going to hold or if it was going to flip backwards. It actually worked. So, hey, kudos for that. So I'm just going to tie it, secure it in the back. I threaded it through the little openings of the basket. And of course, we're going to cut off the excess zip tie. And I think it's so cute. Oh my gosh. All right, so now we're going to add some greenery to the bunny just to add color and texture. And we're going to do that facing both ways. We're also going to take a cute ribbon from Dollar Tree and make 2 simple little bows. One's going to be larger than the other. We're going to start with the smaller one, tie it in the center with some jute string, make the second one, place it on top, and tie it in the back. Then we're going to add more jute string, and then we are going to tie it around the center of the greenery, and this is just going to bring everything together. All right, so now we are going to add a towel. This is just another one of those towels right there on the bottom. And then we're going to add candy. Now you can add florals. You can use this as an Easter basket. How cute is this? I love that it stands so cute. Love the colors. What do you think? I'd love to know your thoughts on this one. Let me know down in the comments. Carrots, look how cute they are. I grabbed 3 because I knew exactly what I wanted to do with them. I removed the tags and then we are going to take one of these, a beautiful bunny style wreath forms from the Dollar Tree Plus. It already has the moss on it. It was $5 and what a great deal. We're going to add these greenery picks to the top. These are from Walmart, but you can certainly use the ones you can find at Dollar Tree. I'm going to just stick them in side to side, hot gluing it in place. That way, if it's going to be outside in the elements, it's really going to hold. I'm going to keep this one for my living room, and I'm so excited. But you can definitely make these and sell them for a good profit. Dollar Tree has many styles in ribbon, and I'm going to use 3 of these. Now, one of them is from the fall collection, but I thought it would look great with this design. I'm going to make a very large bow using this green one, and I like to loop it as an awareness ribbon, scrunch it in the middle, and then we're going to tie it with some jute string. We're going to add a lot of kind of a long jute string because we're going to add 4 bows to this bow. So the first one's going to be this large green one, and then we're going to move on to the orange one, same thing, scrunch it in the middle. This one's going to be a little smaller than the green one. Again, scrunch it, tie it with the remaining jute string. For the 3rd and 4th bow, it's going to be using the same ribbon. It's going to be this beautiful carrot style ribbon. And we're just going to make 2 loops, scrunch it in the middle, tie it with a jute string, and one of them is going to be just a little larger than the other one. This is just going to create a lot of bulky, beautiful ribbon and just fill that middle section in. Of course, you want to fluff as needed and then place it right in the center of everything. Bring the jute string to the back and then just tie it in the knot. You can also hot glue it if you want to do that as well. Now, I am going to cut the ends of the ribbon using a dovetail design, but you can do whatever you want. But do cut them and make them somewhat similar so that it brings everything together and it looks nice and professional. The stakes are gorgeous for this design. We're just going to dent it using my wire cutter because they're too thick to cut with my wire cutters. But once you dent it and then you pull them apart, it just snaps and it's so easy. I'm going to add some hot glue to the end and just place one on each side, and then the third one's going to go towards the top. You can add as many as you want. I think 3 does really well when you're making arrangements or wreaths, so this is why I chose 3. Again, we're just going to dent it, snap it, and hot glue it in place. This is where you can add whatever else you want. I kept mine like this. You can add something to the center of the bow, but I love the way it turned out. I think it looks full, festive, perfect for Easter. What do you think of this one? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to take one of these foam wreath forms from the Dollar Tree. I love having these on hand all the time. They're so great for crafts. We're going to take this burlap ribbon. Now, these are just some pieces I had leftovers from an event that I did a couple of years back. And I had it in the Ziploc bag and I said, you know what? I'm going to use it today. Today's the day. All right, I'm going to just wrap the entire thing. You can choose any ribbon, any fabric, anything you want. I wanted to keep it kind of in the neutral tone, so we're just going to wrap it around, securing it with hot glue. I'm using my little silicone finger protector. This is just going to really protect my fingers. And once it was completely covered, we are going to take this cute bunny stake. Oh my word. I kept saying to myself, look how cute. Oh, he's so stinking cute. Anyways, so we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to cut off the excess stake by denting it and then snapping it. I did cut off enough, or I left enough so that it goes through the foam, but not all the way through. So we're going to use my small screwdriver, make a hole, add hot glue, and then add the stake. And just push him in all the way in. Now he's nicely attached. All right, we're going to take this greenery pick again from Walmart, but use whatever you have on hand. We're going to make little holes with my screwdriver and then add the greenery, keeping that circular shape towards the top. And I did the same thing with several greeneries. Again, this is one of those things where you can keep adding as much as you want. I didn't add any florals, but I am going to add some moss right there towards the front and just kind of shape it and hold it until you kind of see what you want. Dollar Tree carries these little tiny crafting style carrots. I love their size. I just don't like the top portion, and I've seen me do this before. We're just going to remove it and add this faux boxwood. Just going to add a little bit of hot glue and place it right on top. This is just going to make it nicer, but you don't have to do this. You can skip this part if you'd like. We're going to place these right on the front, right there on top of the moss, and then we are just going to hot glue them in place. Now, I didn't add any ribbon towards the top, but you can do that if you want. But look how stinking cute. Oh my word. I love these stakes. Let me tell you, they are up there with one of my favorite items to craft with. Let me know what you think of this one. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to start with one of these wood rounds from Dollar Tree. Again, I use these all the time. These are one of those staple items that I keep on hand because they're so fun and versatile. We're going to remove the tag and we're just going to give it one pretty good coat of Waverly chalk paint in the white. And then, of course, we want to set that to the side to dry. Now, you can pick any color you want, my friend. Just pick whatever color goes with the design you are wanting to go with. Now, we are going to sand it down just a bit once it was dry to smooth it out, and we are going to wipe it really well. I want to give this a plank look. Now, you can skip this part if you want, but I do like that style, so I'm just going to use a permanent marker and a ruler just to make stripes all the way down to the bottom. To mute them down just a bit, I'm going to take some white paint and my stenciling brush. Just going to dry brush some white paint over the lines. This is going to mute them just a little bit so they're not so bold and in your face. And I think it's softened everything. The stake we're using for this one is this beautiful welcome farmhouse style truck. How cute is that? We're going to remove the stake by simply twisting and turning it until it comes off. Now you can also use pliers or like I used my wire cutter and just pull it off as it starts to loosen up. I'm going to dry fit it kind of where I want it to go and tape it with some masking tape. And then we're going to take a calendar. Dollar Tree carries these calendars all the time during the first time of the year. And I'm going to take this beautifully life design and rip it off. We're going to cut off the X's and actually separate the words from each other because we are going to trace them onto the design. You can use your cutting machine if you have one. Now, I always strive to give you ideas on how to do it, even if you don't have a cutting machine. But if you have a cutting machine, oh boy, the possibilities are endless. But here we are. We're just going to tape the beautiful portion of it and to the top, and then we're going to place carbon paper behind it or underneath it. I'm going to use the tracing tool that it comes with, and we're going to trace the words. Now, you can find this carbon paper. You can find the tool as well as my cute little gold scissors on my Amazon store. If you want to check that out, it is always linked down below in the description box. All right, now I'm going to use some paint markers that I do have on my Amazon store as well. One's going to be red and the other one's going to be black. I'm just going to start filling in the words and just make them nice and pretty. Again, we're going to do the beautiful in the red and the life in the black. Now I want to attach the farmhouse truck, so I'm going to use 2 separate glues. We're going to use E6000 for a permanent hold and then hot glue for a more quicker hold. Then we're just going to place it right there where we originally wanted it. Now I want to have this have like a 3D effect. So I'm going to take some of these flowers from Dollar Tree and I'm just going to start hot gluing them over the flowers of the truck. I just think this added character, texture, and just so beautiful. I want to be able to hang this piece on the wall, so we are going to add rope. This is nautical rope from Dollar Tree. We're going to hot glue it to the back as well as tape it so it doesn't fray on us. In the front, we're going to add some faux knots, and I'm sure you've seen me do this before, but I'm going to show you again for those of you who may not know what that is. I'm going to make a knot, a very, very tight knot, remove the excess rope from the top and the bottom, and then we're going to hot glue it right where that rope meets, right there. And now it looks like it's hanging from the knot, but it's not. We're going to do it again. We're going to make a very simple knot, tie it very tightly, remove the excess rope from the top and the bottom, and hot glue it over right there. That's how easy it is, how fun, and look how beautiful this looks. I love the color. I love the farmhouse style. I love that we added those flowers. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. I'm going to take this piece and we're going to remove, of course, the tag. And then we're going to remove a few pieces from this one. I'm using my wire cutters, but you can use scissors. You can use shears, whatever you have. It is a pretty flimsy plastic, so it will cut very easily. Later on, I'm going to show you another tool that I used. I'm going to use my blade knife just to kind of shave off some of the pointy edges that were remaining. And then I'm going to cut off another one. We're only going to need 2 for this one, but of course, we're going to reuse whatever's left for other projects. So now that we have the 2, we are going to join them together just like this. So I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue. Don't worry about it showing because we are going to cover that up. Once it was hardened, I'm just going to flip it over and I'm just going to add one more strip of glue. This is just to really reinforce that bond. I'm going to use some paint sticks for this one, but you can use whatever you have on hand. I'm going to try to frame the entire piece into a decorative door. So I'm just going to start making some marks as well as some cuts, and I'll show you here. I'm just going to keep kind of dry fitting, marking where I need. I'm going to need 3 for the bottom, middle, and top, so total 3. And then for the sides, I'm going to need 4. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to dry fit, mark where I need to mark, and then I'm going to need 4 for those. So the way I do it is I'm just going to stack them up, and I'm going to tape them together, and that way the ones that have the mark will be on top, and I can cut them all at once. I'm going to do the same thing with the other stack, just stack them together, tape them together, and this is where we're going to make cuts. Now, I'm going to use my miter saw, but if you do not have a miter saw, Amazon has these miter boxes, which I do have one as well. You can just use this to make cuts, and it cuts through the paint sticks very well. Here we are. I just made the cuts. Now we're going to remove the tape and then we're going to start framing. And it's just basically like a puzzle. I really enjoy this part. So you just want to start hot gluing as needed, putting one piece at a time, taking your time and enjoying the process. So the door is taking shape and I could not be any happier. How stinking cute is this? Now here's where you can do whatever you want. You can stain the wood before you attach them and leave the fence black. In this case, I decided to paint the whole thing white. You can paint the whole thing any color you want. It's up to you. I'm going to do one coat of the Waverly chalk pen in the white. And I'm not going to look for perfection once again because we are going to be distressing it. But you can skip this part if you want. I'm going to use my antiquing wax. I'm just going to start adding and removing as needed, focusing in areas where it would naturally distress. And then once I had it where I wanted, I am going to take my sanding block and I'm just going to mute the antiquing wax. I'm just going to sand over it, muting it a little bit as well as distressing the actual fence pieces. Now you can use a sandpaper if you want. Sanding blocks I love using. You can find these at Dollar Tree, but I get mine in a bundle on Amazon. And I do have anything that I mentioned on Amazon, I do have in my Amazon store, which is linked down below. These stickers are really cool. They have a very 3D textured look to them. I'm going to add one on each corner. I just thought it added texture and just, I don't know, a cool look. So I'm going to add one on the, or two on the top and two at the bottom. And then there was a little bit hanging from the sides. I'm just going to use my wire cutters here and just snip it off. That's it. Now I do have this cute little wreath. This is from Target Dollar Spot that I got pretty much years ago. I think it was like 4 years ago. I love these because they're a great size. I'm just going to tie it to the door using jute string, and I love the way this turned out. I love the color scheme. I love everything about it. But again, you can use any color you want. What do you think of this one? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to take another set of the fence and we are going to cut off a couple of pieces, specifically the outside pieces, because we do want to keep those little connecting hooks that it comes with. And I'll show you why. So we're going to do the other side as well. And then we are going to need a third piece. So we're going to use a newer piece and we are going to cut off a third piece. And again, we're just going to use my blade knife to kind of shave off some of those little pointy parts that can scratch you. So now that we have all three pieces, I am going to remove the clips on the third one. I'm going to join two of them using the connecting clips that it comes with. And then I'm going to join the third one into a triangle shape, just like you see me doing here. And we are going to do that with some zip ties from Dollar Tree. Now we're going to use these are the smaller ones, and we're just going to start attaching them two on each side. And then just make sure that you kind of turn the little cutoff piece towards the inside of the what will be a lantern. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. These little zip ties are at Dollar Tree. I usually find them in the automobile kind of section where you can find tools as well as tape. Here you have it. We have a cute little beginning of a lantern. Now these chains are from Dollar Tree. They are in the garden section during spring and summer. This is ones you can use to hang flower baskets. I'm going to remove the excess chain that I do not need, and then I'm going to place the hook at the bottom of each chain, and that way we can clip the lantern to it. Now the lantern had these little corners where there was a little opening, but they were too small and I couldn't fit the clips. So I'm just going to whiten it out using my drill and a drill bit that's going to be a little wider. And I did that in all three corners, and that way we can attach the little hooks to each corner. And there you have it. How stinking cute is this looking? You can put anything to this lantern. You can put florals, you can put any other type of lighting. I'm going to use these fairy lights that I do get on Amazon because they're just so easy to work with. It comes with a battery already. I'm going to use 2 packs. I'm going to thread one towards the bottom and then one towards the top. And then I'm going to attach with hot glue the battery pack to the back of the lantern. That way they're not going to go anywhere. Now to the top rim of the lantern, I'm going to use these greenery picks from Dollar Tree. This is only one pick, and I removed some of the picks, and we're just going to tie them with some zip ties, making sure that I start the next one where the other one ended. And they're all going to kind of look droopy, kind of like they're just falling over the lantern, and they're just going to look nice and natural. When you are zip tying, make sure that you are only zip tying the greenery and not the chain because, yeah, talking from experience. Anyways, just attach them as needed, adjust as needed, and I got to tell you, boy, oh boy, is this a beautiful piece. I love this one. In the evening, it has a beautiful glow. You can use it on an outdoor, as long as it's covered, outdoor patio or even indoor. Love, love, love. What do you think of this one? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we are going to start with this board that I found recently at the thrift store. It had some carvings on it, so I'm going to attempt to fill it with this spackle from Dollar Tree. So I'm just going to add here and there and then put it to the side in front of a fan to let it dry. I'm hoping it works, but I'll show you if it did or not. All right, these are the leftover little arches from the fences from the previous projects. I'm going to use 3 of them, and I'm just going to cut them in a nice straight angle, and then we are going to make sure that the other 2 are similar size. And I'm going to use, again, my wire cutters. I'm going to paint them in 3 different colors. I'm going to do one in red, one in blue, and one in white. This is going to be a little bit more in the patriotic theme, but of course you can use any colors you want. You can leave them black if you want. You can paint them white, whatever you want. It's up to you. I'm going to put those to the side to dry, and then we are going to bring in the board, which is already dry. Now, it did get kind of yellow on me, so that had me pretty worried. I'm going to use my sanding block to remove the excess spackle, but that was not fast enough, so I moved over to my electric sander, and I'm just going to sand it over. Now, it was still kind of, you can feel the engrave, but it's okay. We're going to paint it white, and I'm going to use, again, Waverly Chalkman in the white. I'm going to do one pretty heavy coat and put that to the side. Once dry, you can see that it turned yellow on me, and you can actually feel the engraving still on it. So we are going to move on, and we are going to cover it using vinyl. This is leftover vinyl that I had on hand. It's white, but again, you can use any color you want. We're just going to cover it, remove any bubbles that may be left behind, and then using my scraper, really making sure it's attached, and using my electric sander, we're going to remove the excess paper from the edges. This is also going to leave a very smooth edge. Now we are going to attach the arches. We're going to take hot glue. We're just going to attach the blue one first on one side. Then we're going to do the red on the other. And then we're going to do the white one on top of the 2, right there in the center. This beaded patriotic garland is so cute. You can find it at Dollar Tree in their 4th of July or American aisle. And I'm just going to start wiggling and kind of shaping it into the pattern that I like and just hot gluing it in place. And this is all we're going to do to it. You can add whatever you want, my friends. You can add USA. You can add any other saying, God bless America. I wanted to keep it simple. Love the way this one turned out. I love simplicity and how absolutely cool that we use those leftover arches. Love this. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. We're going to start with this one. Love this one. It actually flickers like if it was a lantern. It's gorgeous. We're going to remove the bottom portion because we're not going to need it. We're also going to use this wooden board from the Dollar Tree Plus. It was $5 and had a great shape and it's solid wood. Love it. I'm going to dry fit the lantern where I want it, and then we're going to measure just to kind of see how much space I have. I am going to stain it using the Antiquing Wax by Waverly. I am going to use just a little rag and just spread it around until the entire board is covered, removing any excess as needed. While that dries, I did use my Cricut design space and designed a scripture words that I can place on that right side of the board. I am going to weed off the actual design because we're going to use it as a stencil rather than a decal. So I'm just going to remove the design, and then we're going to place some transfer tape over it. The transfer tape is going to help us attach it to the surface. So we're going to place it right on top, and then we're going to remove the backing from it. This part is always a little hard, especially with this smart vinyl because it is really thick paper. But nonetheless, we did remove the backing, and then we are able to place it on the board. I'm going to place it right on that side where I measured earlier, and I'm just going to flatten it out as much as able, remove the transfer tape, and then we are going to stencil it. Again, you can always use it as a decal, but I'd rather use the stencil for this one. I'm going to use my favorite stenciling brush that I do get on Amazon, and I do have on my Amazon store if you want to check it out. It is linked down in the description box. I'm going to use Waverly chalk pen in the ink, and I'm just going to do the round and about motion stenciling. This is a great technique. I'm not even doing any force or any pressure on the brush. I'm just letting it do its thing. Once it was done stenciling, I'm going to remove the excess vinyl, remove all the little tiny pieces, and then we have a beautiful design. I love this scripture, and I just love the way this turned out. All right, so now we are going to seal everything. We're just going to take it outside. We're going to spray it once, just a pretty heavy coat of this top coat. It has a glossy finish, and I really like the way it turned out. So once it was dry, it has its beautiful sheen, very pretty. All right, now let's attach the lantern. I'm going to call it a lantern, but you know what I mean, the solar light. I'm going to mark where I need to drill a couple of holes, and I am going to then use some zip tie from Dollar Tree. Now, at first I thought I just needed to use that bottom portion, and you're going to see that I had to actually remove it because it was wobbling on me. And I'm going to show you the entire process so that way you learn from my mistakes. So once I had it attached, I am going to then flip it over, and this is when I realized it was just a little too wobbly. So I'm going to remove that zip tie, and then we're going to drill a couple of extra holes on the top. I'm going to mark once again where I need to drill them. Drill them with my drill. This is a Ryobi drill. And then we are going to use another zip tie, and we're going to start by zip tying the top portion first, securing in the back, and then attaching the bottom. I did cut off the excess from the back, of course, and now it's nicely attached. All right, so now we're going to make a little swag. We're just going to use some greenery from Walmart, and I'm just going to make it with just some trick in the center. No big deal. We're going to hot glue it in place, and then we are going to hot glue it to the bottom of the lantern right there. And I think this turned out absolutely gorgeous. I love the message. I love how it lights up like a lantern. Wait until you see it in the dark. But let me know what you think of this one. For the next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to start with this garden dish. It is clear. We are going to remove the paper and the stickers from the inside as well as the back. And then we're going to wipe it well because we do not want any dust or any smudges. This is the vase that we're going to use with it. I just thrifted this a while back. And again, we're just going to dust it and clean it well. I'm going to spray the vase white with this spray paint from Rust-Oleum. And I'm going to spray the dish red with this spray paint from Rust-Oleum. I took it outside, and I'm going to spray paint them, give them a couple of light coats, and of course letting them dry. I did, however, realize that I missed a step. So after it was all dry, the red dish, I had to go back inside and do it all over again because we missed a step. So, okay, so let me show you. This is the solar light we're going to use. I'm going to use a piece of vinyl from Dollar Tree, and this is just one leftover from Christmas. I'm going to trace it, and I'm going to cut it. And then we are going to peel it like a sticker and place it right there. We need that opening because we're creating a mushroom from our garden or for indoors. And once it's sprayed, painted, then this is what it looked like. So don't do as I did. Just do as I say. Just make sure you add that vinyl there before you spray paint it. All right, live and learn. So I'm going to make some circles to make it look like a cute little mushroom. And I'm going to use Waverly chalk pen in the white. I did do 2 coats to each circle. And then once dry, we are going to remove the vinyl, and this is what we have. We want that to be clear because we want the solar light to be able to recharge. I'm going to take it outside like I did earlier, and I'm just going to spray paint it with that top coat. Going to make it nice and shiny and glossy, and just make sure everything is nicely sealed. This is how everything is looking, and now we're going to put everything together. The solar light, we just want to remove that little paper, and then we are going to remove the stick because we are not going to need that part. All right, so now we are going to place some stones inside the vase. That way it's going to be nicely weighted and it's not going to tilt on us. And then we are going to hot glue the solar light right on top. Just work a little quick because it does dry quickly. So there you go. And then we're going to do a combination of E6000 as well as hot glue to attach the top portion. Just make sure that you don't mix the two. Just kind of keep them a little separated as possible. And we're going to place it right there. We're going to hold it until it hardens. And I think it turned out absolutely gorgeous. I've seen several of these being made online as well as on Pinterest. Love the way this one turned out. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. For the next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to take this gorgeous solar light. We remove the bottom portion of it. We're going to temporarily remove the top so that we can remove the little tag, and that way it lights up. And then we're going to put it right back in. We're going to bring in one of these round foams from Dollar Tree. We're just going to place it right in the center. We're going to push it in, and then we are going to remove it temporarily because we want to add hot glue. And then, of course, the hot glue is just going to make it nice and permanent. And you just want to hold it until it hardens. Now, you can use any other surface you want underneath this one, but I thought the foam was sufficient. I'm going to cover that rim, that side portion with ribbon from Dollar Tree. I'm just going to hot glue it in place. And then I'm going to layer some jute string on top of the ribbon. So this is what it's looking like, and I'm loving it. All right, now we're going to cover the foam using Spanish moss. You can find these at Dollar Tree, but I haven't found it at my local one, so I just ordered mine on Amazon. I'm just going to add a little bit of hot glue and then just kind of taking my time covering the surface. And then, of course, it's going to make a mess, but it's okay. Once I had everything covered, I am going to trim off just those edges. They're just a little too much for me. So we're going to give it a haircut. And once it's trimmed, then we're going to add some greenery. This greenery is from Walmart, and I just love Walmart's greenery picks. I feel like it's just a good bang for your buck and a very good quality. So if you're ever in their Walmart floral section, just grab a few. All right, so I'm just going to keep adding some of these greenery, just taking whatever I have on hand and then adding hot glue as needed. I am also going to use these pink flowers, and then we're just going to kind of tilt them to the sides because I do want to be able to see the solar light and the beautiful glow. So I'm just going to add this last one right here, and again, tilted towards the side. I'm going to keep it on the simple side, but look how gorgeous this is. This would be great as a centerpiece for a baby shower, a wedding shower, you name it. Love, love, love this one. But let me know what you think down in the comments. Start with one of these phone wreath rings from Dollar Tree. You can find them year-round in the floral or crafting area. I'm going to remove the sticker and bring in several of these lemon-themed flip-flops. These are the kids' medium-size flip-flops, and I'm going to use a total of 3 pairs. I'm going to start by simply hot gluing them, facing kind of like sideways, just going around the ring, and then hot gluing one underneath each one. Now, I quickly realized that I should be adding some wire as well. So I'm going to hot glue, then poke a couple of holes, thread red wire. This is just what I had at home, but you can use whatever flexible wire you have, and then twist it in the back. And I'm going to do that all around the wreath. Again, we're just going to hot glue, poke a couple of holes, thread the wire, and twist in the back. And we're going to cover the twisties in the back here in just a minute, but we're going to start by simply covering the entire wreath from one end to the other. I had bought 4 pairs to see if I needed an extra one, but I only needed the 3 pairs, so that's all I used. All right, so now we're going to cover all those little twisties in the back because they are pointy and they will be prickly. So we are going to cut this ribbon. This is just a leftover one I had from fall. I'm going to cut it in half, and then I'm going to hot glue and then just kind of thread it in between the foam ring as well as the flip-flops, and just hot glue, making sure that I am covering every part where that wire was twisted. I'm going to keep doing this until all of them are completely covered. Again, this is just to make sure it's not going to poke anyone or leave any scratches on any wall or surface. We're going to add some florals. These are some yellow and green picks from Dollar Tree, as well as one from Walmart because I wasn't sure if I was going to have enough from Dollar Tree. I wanted to have picks that had that yellow tone. That way it's just going to complement the entire design. How I am attaching it, I am going to attach it on the outside of the rim of the wreath form. I'm just going to poke a small hole using my small screwdriver, adding glue to the picks, and then inserting them one by one. I'm going to do this all around, making sure that I am filling any holes and empty spaces with as many picks as I need. Before I add anything else, I want to make sure I add something to hang the wreath from. So I'm going to take this yellow ribbon from Dollar Tree and I'm just going to thread it through one side, tie it in a knot, and that's it. This is just going to serve as a place where we can hang the wreath form. I'm going to take these Dollar Tree flowers. We're going to add 5 of them on the outside perimeter, kind of like in between the greenery picks and the flip-flops. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to poke a hole with my small screwdriver, add hot glue, and add a flower. And then I do want to add one more. This is going to be towards the bottom right corner of the wreath. And I'm just going to add a hole right there on that flip-flop, add some glue, and then add the flower. This is absolutely stunning. What a beautiful way to use these flip-flops. I love the colors, but I'd love to know what you think. Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to start with this square canvas. This is the flat kind. You can find this in the crafting aisle. I'm also going to use one of these 2024 calendars. I love that they bring these every year. This one has a beach design, and I love this March design. So I'm just going to tear that off, and we're going to use that to cover the canvas. We're going to use Gorilla adhesive spray, and I'm going to spray the surface of it. I'm going to place the design exactly where I want it. So I want to have the swing, a little bit of the palm tree, of course. So once I have it where I want it, I'm just going to flatten out. And then we're going to sand down the edges using my sanding block. And we are just going to do it in a downward motion. This is going to remove the excess paper, as well as really make those edges very smooth and flush to the canvas. These are the flip-flops we're going to use. You can use whatever flip-flops you want. These are some that I already had and some that I just recently purchased. I'm going to cut off about 2 inches from the bottom of each flip-flop. These are adult sizes. Either some are medium and some are large. I'm going to start hot gluing them, one on the top, the matching pair on the bottom, so directly across from it. And then I'm going to add another pair directly on the sides across from each other, just like you see here. Now we are going to add, of course, 2 more pairs. Now those corner ones, we're just going to cut off the corners from the bottom and we're just going to add it right there. You see how that fits very nicely? And then just hot glue and hold until it hardens. Cutting those edges or those corners really help to really fit in there and is not going to be too bulky when placed on a wall. So we're going to add this last pair, again, cutting off those corners and hot gluing and holding as needed. Now, I do want to add some pop of flowers or color. So I want to flip it over and we're going to add pink and yellow flowers from Dollar Tree. We're going to alternate the colors from each flip-flop. I'm going to poke a hole in the center right next to where that thong is. And we're just going to literally add glue and add the flower. Then we're going to go from pink to yellow, pink, yellow, and do that all the way around. So we're going to add this final one. And let me remind you, you can use any florals. You can add greenery. You can add whatever you want. I'm going to add rope to the back of this one so that we can hang it. I'm just going to loop it, add hot glue on both ends, and then I'm going to tape it. This is just going to add a bit more stability as well as prevent any fraying. And I got to tell you, this is close to my favorite one. I absolutely love the way this turned out. If you want to place it outdoors, make sure it's away from the elements and make sure that you seal that paper. But let me know what you think of this one down in the comments. And we're going to start creating some beautiful crafts with them. Now they come in 2 different tones, a darker and a lighter tone, and you're going to see me using both of them, sometimes even a mix of them. I'm going to put them in a basket and we're going to start building. We're going to create a frame. Now I'm going to use my ruler square to keep me nice and straight, especially in the corners. And you're going to see how I use that. I'm going to alternate the tones from lighter to darker. I just thought it added nice character, and I really love the way they look together. So here it is. We're just in the corner. I'm just going to use that corner of the square, and it worked really well. I'm going to make a rectangle, and then I'm going to create a second one around the original rectangle to create a thicker frame and also give it more texture and more of a design. When I got to the corner of the outside frame, I did have to cut a little bit, so I'm just going to mark and then use my miter shears to cut the block. Now it cut perfectly, and I'm just going to attach it with hot glue. I do have these miter shears in my Amazon store, and it is linked down below in the description box. I did use the shears a couple of extra times here in this project, as well as some other ones. So I'm just going to attach this last piece here, and look how gorgeous this is looking. I'm going to lightly sand the surface. This is just to smooth things out. Some of the hot glue oozes out, and you just want to remove that and making sure that it's as clean as possible. I'm going to take a piece of this foam from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to hot glue it on the left bottom corner of the frame. We're going to create kind of like a decorative frame / wreath, and we're going to add some greenery. This is greenery that I had on hand, but you can use any greenery from Dollar Tree that you want, or even florals. I'm going to add some going towards the top and then some going sideways at the bottom. Again, you can do whatever you want. You can also add more greenery on the upper right-hand corner, and that would be very pretty as well. To cover up the foam, we're just going to add some of this leftover ribbon from Dollar Tree. It's a burlap style, very neutral. We're going to wrap it around, secure it in place with hot glue, and then we're going to add a little pop of color with a beautiful yellow flower from Dollar Tree. We are going to poke a hole because this burlap and then the foam just made it a little hard. So poke a hole, add glue, and then add the flower. I'm going to add a couple of these greenery leaves that I had left over from other picks just to add a pop of color in a different color shade of green. Love, love, love the way this frame turned out. You can paint this frame. You can do whatever you want. The possibilities are endless. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to start with one of these wood slices. I get these on Amazon, but you can find them at different stores, Walmart, wherever you want. I have not seen them at Dollar Tree, at least mine. All right, we're going to start with some of the lighter tone color ones, and we're going to start hot gluing them on top of the wood slice all the way around. When you're picking out a wood slice, just make sure that it's as close to a perfect circle as possible, although it's going to be kind of hard, but just do the best you can. So I'm just going to hot glue them on top as close to each other as possible. Now, I think it looked beautiful in the natural wood tones, but I am going to paint the outside of the blocks. Now, looking back, I would have painted them before I hot glued them because we're just doing the outside of it and the very top. But it's okay, you live and learn. So I'm just going to give it one kind of sloppy coat. I do want it to look a little bit distressed on the outside of each block. I did do the top as well, and we're just going to wrap around some jute string around and around several times once it was dry. Then we're going to make a very simple bow. We're going to keep it simple, but you can use a knot, you can use whatever you want. Now I am going to cut off the excess string, and then I decided to add some greenery because you know I love my greenery. This faux boxwood is from Amazon, and I do have it on my Amazon store. I'm going to cut off the bottom stem that it has, and then just hot glue several of them, 3 to be exact. This is just going to add nice character and texture and a pop of color. You can also add florals if you want. Now I decided to add a candle inside. Now this one is a real candle. I ended up not placing this one because I thought this could be a fire hazard. So I'm just going to add one of my battery operated ones from Amazon, and look how gorgeous this looks. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. For for this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we are going to make a fun craft. We are going to take 5 of the darker tone ones and just hot glue them together in a nice long stick form. That's it. And then we're going to do 4 of these. We're going to create a lantern. Now, I saw one on Pinterest and I was so inspired and I thought I can totally make that maybe a little bit more different, but I think it turned out so gorgeous. So we're going to make 4 of these first, and then we're going to create a base as well as a top for the lantern. So this is what they look like. Now we're going to take 4 of the darker tones, create 2 shapes of an L, and then hot glue them together. I'm going to create 4 of these because we are making 2 lanterns. Once we have the base and the top nicely glued together, we are going to attach the long parts, one to each corner, just like you see me doing here. Now take your time and make sure you hold it for a few seconds until it hardens, and then add the top portion. And this is what it's looking like. How cute is this? We're going to do the same exact thing, except we're going to make it a little shorter. Instead of 5 blocks, we're going to use 4 blocks for this one. Make 4 of them. Same thing. Just add it to the base and add to the top. And then make sure that everything's securely in place. Just like that. And now we have 2 cute lanterns that look exactly the same, except one is shorter than the other. Now I do want to add some of these felt pads to the bottom. That way it's not going to scratch any surface. And I think it adds a little bit of stability. So I added 1 in each corner just like that. These are the battery operated faux candles I do have on my Amazon store. I am going to place some batteries, and look how cute this is. It comes with a little remote control and you turn them on and they actually glow pretty bright. I'm going to place a taller one in the tall lantern and a shorter one in the shorter lantern, and look how gorgeous this looks. Again, you can paint these in whatever color you want, but I'd love to know what you think of this one. Let me know down in the comments. Dollar Tree DIY craft, we are going to take these red, white, and blue fabrics, and we're just going to open them up. Now, I ended up not needing 2 of the red ones. 1 was sufficient. I'm going to cut it in half, and I'm going to start cutting the fabric in strips. For the first one, I'm just going to fold it in like a third and then just cut them open and then cut them in strips. I did realize that they were a little too short, so I ended up then folding it instead of in 3s, folded it in half and making the strips. So I'm just going to have some strips that are a little shorter than others, but it worked out in the end. I'm going to do the same thing to the blue fabric, and we're just going to cut them again a little longer. When it's all said and done, you should have a ton of strips just like this. Now, depending on how big your wreath form is, you're going to need more or less. This wreath form I got at the Target dollar spot years ago. I still have it home, and I'm just going to cover half of it, or actually more than half, in the red, and then the smaller upper left-hand corner side in the blue. We're going to create a patriotic wreath form. Now, you can use whatever flag colors you want, and you have. I think it'd be gorgeous in any colors. This is just to give you inspiration. You can also do it Christmassy themed or summer themed, whatever you want. So I'm just going to start tying all of the strips in between the boxwood. So not over the boxwood. We don't want to tie those. We're just going to separate and open the greenery picks and then add them to the actual stem. And then we're going to fix everything. So it's going to look messy, but I promise you it's going to work out. Once I have them all attached, I'm just going to start kind of like you see here, straightening it out and fanning out all those strips of fabric, making sure they're facing the right way. And it does take a little bit of time, but it's very, very enjoyable. I'm going to do the same thing on the red fabric, and then I'm going to take the boxwood greenery and I'm going to make sure they're facing the right way, that they're on top of the fabric and everything's looking nice and neat. Once you have everything where you want it, I'm going to trim it. You don't have to, but because some of them were a little longer than others, I just want to make sure everything's as close as possible, but I'm not looking for them to be exactly the same size. So I'm just going to keep trimming them until I like what I see. Now, to hang it, you can leave it just as is without adding anything, or you can add a ribbon like I'm doing here. Just make a knot and then slide the knot towards the inside. but I think this wreath is absolutely stunning. Oh my word. I love the combination of greenery and fabric, but what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we are making a functional craft using poster board. This is just pieces that I had left over, and I'm going to cut a piece that are 3 inches wide by about 4 inches or 4.5 inches long. I'm going to then mark about 4 inches from the long side and make a line on both sides. Then I'm going to mark about 1/2 inch on the other side. We're going to make a smaller rectangle inside the rectangle. Then we're going to take my X-Acto knife and we're going to open it up. We're creating a little window. So this is going to be a luggage tag. I have never made a luggage tag, but I am hooked. I think this will make such a cute gift for someone who loves to travel. So cute. All right, so here we are. Now we have the front part of the tag, and this is the fabric that we're going to use. Isn't it beautiful? Oh my. All right, so we're going to add 1 layer of Mod Podge on one side of the front tag and then as well as the back tag. Now, if you've seen me for a while or you've seen recent videos, I just learned this technique with Mod Podge. You just want to apply a medium to thin layer of Mod Podge, let it dry. All right, so this is the fabric. We're going to cut a little bit of it, ironed it, and then we're just going to place it on the dry Mod Podge with a little bit of parchment paper on top, and then you just want to iron it on. It does not take long. Remove everything, and it's nicely stuck. We're going to cut off the excess from the edges, but we're going to leave one of the ends with the fabric, okay? Because then we are going to add a little hot glue and we're going to create a little seam. Now, looking back, I could have just seamed everything and it would have looked a little cleaner. So whenever I do this again, I'm just going to do the seam on all the edges. So using my X-Acto knife, I'm going to cut off the middle portion. And then we're going to do the same thing with the back of the tag. Place the parchment paper on top of the fabric, iron it, and then I'm going to cut off the edges and leave one side with the fabric so that we can create a seam. Unless you want to do seam all over, then just cut off enough to where you have a small little seam. This is a plastic baggie that I had left over from another project. I'm just going to cut off a piece that's going to fit inside, and we're going to hot glue it. Now be careful because it kind of gets soft and hot, so just be very careful. Hot glued it in place, and now we're going to place the top tag on top of the back portion, just like that. And then, of course, don't hot glue that end with the seam because that's where we're going to insert the little card. So we're creating a little tag card, a little smaller than the size of the tag. And then we are going to just write name, address, phone, and then make lines. And this is what we're going to insert inside the luggage tag. How adorable. Now, of course, we want to have something to hang it from. So we're going to poke a hole. You see my crocodile. I'm going to thread some blue ribbon and I'm just going to knot it. And this is what you can use to tie around your luggage. How fun is this? It's such a great gift idea. Oh, you can make these for Christmas and use them as the gift tags, which can also then be luggage tags. How fun! Let me know what you think of this one. We're going to start with one of these. These are the ones that have the handles. We're going to remove the cardboard from it. And then we're just going to separate just a little bit that middle portion. And then that black plastic part comes off easily. We're going to spray it in this beautiful mauve color. And we're just going to take it outside, spray it. One pretty heavy coat. It dried really quick because it's outside. But of course, if you're going to do it inside, just have maybe a window cracked open, wear some masks, whatever you need to do. Once dry, we're going to take one of these foam cylinders from Dollar Tree and we're just going to cut off a little piece from it. We're going to poke a couple of holes on the top portion of the shield. This is so that we can use zip ties to attach a little piece of foam board right there. We're going to also add a little bit of hot glue just for extra security. We're going to cut off the excess zip ties and then we're going to start adding some florals. We're going to keep it nice and simple, but I do want to add a contrast color. This bundle of faux flowers is from Walmart and they have great selection. I'm going to cut off a couple of pieces here just to add greenery to the sides, add a little bit of hot glue and stick them right onto the foam. Right in the center, we're going to add a beautiful blue flower from the same pick, and I kept the leaves that came with it. And then we're just going to add a couple little loose leaves to the top just to cover that foam nicely. This is going to be an earring holder. Of course, you can do whatever else you want with it. I just thought having an earring holder this cute, this chic is so adorable. You can use this as a gift or just for your home decor. Let me know what you think of this one. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to take another one of those shields with the handle, remove the cardboard, and remove the plastic little part right there. We're going to do something similar, but we're going to paint this one white. Again, we're going to take it outside, and we're just going to do the round portion of it. We did one pretty heavy coat until it was fully covered, and then we're going to leave it outside until it dries. Now, this was still kind of early, but once the sun started coming out, I slid them right onto the sunshine. It dries even faster. All right, we're going to take a piece of cardboard. We're just going to cover it about 2/3 of the shield, leaving a little bit on towards the left side. And we're going to spray it in this beautiful teal blue spray by Rust-Oleum. And again, leaving it outside until it's nicely dry. This is what it's looking like. How adorable. You can do whatever color combination you want. We're going to take this reusable stencil from Essential Stencil. We're just going to place it right there on the towards the bottom portion of the white part. And we're going to use Waverly chalk pen and the ink. This is just a really black one. And my favorite stenciling brush, which I do have in my Amazon store. If you want to check them out, they come in different sizes. They are by far my favorite stenciling brushes. And I'm going to leave it here in real time so you can see it doesn't take long at all. I'm going to do the round and around motion. This is really going to help it have no bleed through, and it's almost like a dry brush technique. Look how adorable it looks, but I forgot to remove it or add something underneath it, so no worries. I always keep disinfecting wipes right next to my craft station, and it wiped really, really well. All right, so now we are going to add more foam to this one because we do want to add some florals. I think it really just calls for it, but you can also add ribbon and whatever you want. Poking another 2 holes right there on the top, and we're going to add hot glue. We're going to place the foam and then zip tie it nicely tight. Again, I want to add some florals that are really contrasting but complements the color design really nicely. These pink flowers from Dollar Tree are gorgeous. I'm going to add a couple to the top right there. You're going to add as many as little as you want. Of course, I left the little leaves right with them to add that pop of green. And then I'll add some of these little greenery picks left over from another projects. And we're just going to add a couple to each side, making sure they kind of drape in that circular shape of the shield. And then we're going to add one more right there on the blue. We're just going to add a little bit of hot glue. We don't need to add the foam down here. And I'm going to add one more leafy part right there to the back to cover it up. And that way it's going to look nice and pretty. I'm going to add a couple of those leafy greens to the top again to cover up the foam. But look how gorgeous this looks. You can make this for fall, spring, summer, Christmas, any season, any holiday. Love the way this one turned out, but let me know what you think of this one. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to use one of the shields that have the knob instead of the handle. I love these one as well. The difference is this one will have a hole right in the center once we remove that. So this is why the one with the shield looks nicer if you're going to just keep the whole shield nicely and full. But this one, we're going to remove it. So we're just going to just start poking it, pushing through, and it does remove. But let me tell you, I poked myself several times. You're going to see me here going like, ouch, ouch. Finally, I gave in and I went and grabbed my work gloves because it was just not pulling off. So using protective gloves really helps. So please do that and be very careful. I'm going to hammer down just some areas that actually lifted up as I was pulling the screen from it. All right, so this is another pick from Walmart. Gorgeous color, gorgeous design. I'm just going to cut off a few. We're going to create a little swag. So we're going to place the florals, ones going up, others going downwards, and then we're going to leave the nice bright coral color one for a little bit later. We're going to join everything in the center with some jute string, and then we're going to make a very simple knot, and we're going to attach it to the right side of the ring. But you can add it everywhere, anywhere you want. The left, the top, the bottom. You can use it wherever. I will attach it with a little bit more of jute string, and then we're just going to secure it in place with a little bit of hot glue. Now we are going to attach the chloroflora right there to the jute string. It really attaches well because the hot glue adheres to that jute string really, really good. You can add whatever else you want. I like simplicity, so we're just going to keep it as is. You can also add a ribbon to be able to hang it, but because it is a ring, it does stick really nicely, and I just love the way this one turned out. I just love the color, the simplicity. How gorgeous is this? Let me know what you think down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to take two more of the ones with handles. We're going to remove everything from it, including the little plastic black handle, and then we're going to create a fall one. I know, it's not fall yet, but I just could not help myself. I saw something similar on Pinterest, and I knew I can recreate it very inexpensively. So I'm going to tilt the handles, one going towards the left, one going towards the right, and then when you join them together, it creates this cute little pumpkin shape. Isn't that adorable? Now I'm going to join everything together using some flexible wire. You can also use zip ties if you'd like, but the flexible wire really just thin enough that you're not going to see it. I want to do the same thing over there on the top where the handles are, just so that it's nice and tightened both at the bottom and at the top. It doesn't take long. I get this flexible wire at Amazon, and I believe I do have it in my Amazon store as well. All right, we're going to add a little bit of hot glue where those little prickly wire is so that it doesn't pick anybody or scratch any surface. We're going to take it outside once again, spray it in this beautiful orange tone by Rust-Oleum, and we're just going to give it again one pretty heavy coat until it's fully covered and leave it outside until it has dried. Once dry, it is looking beautiful. Now, of course, we want to cover that handle and create a stem. So we're going to use some nautical rope. This is the natural tone nautical rope from Dollar Tree. We're going to hot glue at the bottom, wrap it around, and then finish it by hot gluing it on the top as well. We're going to do the same thing for this one. We're going to add a little piece of foam. This is going to be a little larger, and we're going to poke holes right through the foam, through the screen on each shield, and then we're going to add a little hot glue and then use zip ties to secure everything in place. And we're going to slide the little zip tie knot, like where we cut off, towards the front so it doesn't scratch any surface. We're going to add a pop of color with these beautiful bright green leaves that I have from other projects left over. We're going to poke a little hole, add a little glue, and just add it right there. And we're going to do another one on the other side just to even things out. I like doing that. I like doing this as my base and then adding things to it. But you can do whatever you want. The flower we're going to use is this beautiful sunflower. It's one of those potted ones from Dollar Tree. I removed the little pot and the stem. I left the leaves on it. We're just going to poke a hole and we're just going to add it right there with some hot glue to secure it in place. And of course, you can hold it until it hardens. This little harvest galvanized word was left over from last year's stash for fall. We're going to add a combination of E6000 as well as hot glue so it has a permanent as well as a fast hold. And we're going to place it on there to the right side of the screen. Gorgeous, gorgeous. You can add ribbon. You can add whatever else you want to this. I'm going to add a little bit of jute string to the stem. That way we have something to hang it from. And I think this is my favorite. I love it. And I know it's not quite yet fall crafting season, but soon. So stay tuned. But I love the way this one turned out. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. We're going to start with this one. It has such a summer vibe. Wanted to use it. I'm also going to use this $3 board from Dollar Tree Plus. I love having these in my crafting stashes because they're great for crafts. I'm going to use a technique that so many of you have recommended when Mod Podging, and that's the ironing technique. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a pretty good layer of Mod Podge on all 3 planks, and then we're going to put that to the side and let it completely dry. Again, I have never used this technique, so we'll see how it goes. Once it's fully dry, we're going to place the design where I want it, and then we're going to place parchment tape paper right on top. Then we're going to use an iron. Now I have this little mini iron from Cricut. I'm just going to use this one, but you can also use an iron if you want. I'm going to speed it up quite a bit because I did move quite slow. I want to make sure that that glue really melts underneath the design. And then once you are done, it's supposed to attach. I didn't know what to expect, but I got to tell you, I was pleasantly surprised. The design fully stayed. I even tested with a little shake and wiggle. It worked, my friends. All right, we're going to use my sanding block and we are going to remove the excess paper from the sides. I'm going to do a downward motion. This is going to remove the excess paper as well as distress those corners and edges. I'm going to use my X-Acto knife to remove the paper in between the planks. And then I'm going to use a nail filer to give it that distressed look that I really like and really goes with the whole design. During the summer months, Dollar Tree carries these starfishes and they come 3 in a pack and I love using them for crafts. I'm going to use just one of them and I'm just going to hot glue it to the upper right hand corner. Now you can totally leave this as is and it looks very pretty, but I wanted to add these picks. These are very coastal summer picks that you can find at Dollar Tree for $1.25. I'm going to pull it apart just in different picks and the size that really matches the design. And then we're just going to start placing them kind of underneath these starfish with a little bit of hot glue and just going to keep adding and cutting the picks as needed. You can add whatever else you want. You can add seashells to it, whatever you want. I did want it to keep it a little bit on the simple side. I gotta tell you, love this design. I love the natural worn design that it has and how fun to use a calendar page. Let me know what you think of this one. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to take this beautiful calendar and we are going to use this patriotic 4th of July or Memorial Day design. I love that they have these flat canvases. This is one of their larger ones. These are great for larger projects and it fits perfect with this design. I'm going to lightly sand down the edges just to give it a little bit more of a worn look. Now the page actually fits 2 sides on the canvas. This is me just adding a little bit of distress on the design. For this project, I am going to do the old-fashioned Mod Podging. We're just going to add a layer of Mod Podge and place the design. I thought, let's give it a try. Let me tell you, friends, it wrinkled up. I'm not going to lie. Now, what made it work is that the design itself is very farmhouse, very distressed look. So it was actually okay. But otherwise, I definitely recommend the ironing technique. All right, I'm going to tape the top portion. I want to make some red stripes. This is just to fill in that top portion that is bare. We're going to add some florals anyway, so you can always leave as is. I just thought adding these stripes would really bring everything together. I'm going to give it what would look like a sloppy coat, which it is, but basically I just wanted to have a distressed look and kind of match the overall look. We're going to remove the tape and reveal the stripes, and we're just going to put that to the side fairly quickly. It dried. It is chalk paint. This is Farmhouse Red by Rust-Oleum. All right, we're going to take a piece of foam. Once everything is dry, we're just going to add it right there in the center so that we can add some greenery picks. Although you can leave the design as is, add a hanging rope in the back, and you are all done. But I love my greenery, so you can always skip this part, but I am going to add some of these greenery picks. These I get on Amazon. I'm just going to add some towards the right, the left, and then we're going to add a beautiful blue flower. This is from Walmart. Walmart has great floral selections, and I just thought that blue really complements the design. I'm going to add additional picks here and there just to kind of fill in some of those empty spaces. And then I decided to add a white flower. You absolutely do not have to add the white flower. I just thought it really complements the whole design. Now we are going to add a hanging rope to the back. We're going to hot glue it in place. We're also going to tape it so that it does not fray on us. And that's it for this one. This is such a fun project to do. What a fun design this is. Love the way it turned out. The size is amazing. Perfect for the holidays. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to take a beautiful bee style design that this calendar has. Love this design. I've been such in a mood for bee decor. Love it. We're going to do a lot of cutting here, so take your time if you're going to recreate this one. I'm going to cut off the beehive, both bees, as well as the be kind phrase. Now, just add music, watch a movie. It did take some time, but slowly but surely we were able to get everything cut. For the be kind, I did have to use a combination of scissors as well as my X-Acto knife to really get inside each letter. Again, take your time. It does take some time, but it is so worth it. If you have a cutting machine, however, you can certainly do your own design and use that. But for those that do not, this is a great alternative. Dollar Tree carries these planked boards year round, and some come in a round shape, some square, and different colors. I'm going to use this one. I love the colors that it already has. I think it complements the design really well, but I am going to paint the beads. So I'm just going to tape the bottom, and I'm going to use this beautiful milk paint. It's Venetian Yellow by Rust-Oleum Milk Paint. Love the color, and I'm just going to paint each bead slowly but surely, and then of course let them dry. I think this really adds a pop of color, and it kind of brings everything together as a design. Now it's time to start placing each piece. Now this is a little larger, so I just thought, why not make it look like it's overflowing on the edge? Love that I chose to do that. I'm just going to take my time folding and placing as needed, and then we're going to add Mod Podge and start placing it. I'm not going to do the iron technique on this one. These pieces are small enough, and it actually turned out really well without ironing it. So I'm just going to take my time, keep adding Mod Podge. I added the beehive first, then I'm going to add both bees, and then I'm going to add the be kind phrase one by one, adding Mod Podge as needed. I'm going to let everything dry, and once it was dry, I'm going to add one final layer of Mod Podge over everything, and then I'm going to set it to the side and let it dry. Once dry, I'm going to take a permanent marker, and we're just going to finish those beautiful little lines. I think it complements and it adds a nice touch. And then on the black surface, I'm going to use a white permanent marker and add the lines all to the bee. You can leave this as is, okay? But I am going to add a flower because it feels like the bees need to be flying somewhere. So I'm just going to add the leafy parts, then the yellow flower on top, and some of the greenery picks on each side. And they just looks like the bees are just flying towards this cute little flower. This has to be my favorite. I love the way this one turned out. How cute is this? How fun and how easy. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we are going to take another design. This one has more of a rounded shape. Therefore, we're going to use this Seize the Days summer sign from Dollar Tree. It has a lot of texture with the glitter, so I'm going to sand it down with my electric sander, but you can use a sanding block if you'd like. We're going to dust it really well, and then we're going to give everything one coat of Waverly chalk paint in the ink tone, which is a really dark black. The design of the calendar is very light in the front, and I have seen in the past that whenever you attach it to a surface, you can see the calendar lines from the back. But if you paint it in a dark tone, you won't see it. So once the paint was dry, I'm going to add one layer of Mod Podge, and we're going to place it to the side to dry. And when I say I place it to the side, I literally place it on the floor in front of a fan, and it speeds up the project immensely. Once dry, we're going to use the iron technique because, yeah, it works. Then we're going to place the parchment paper, and then we're going to iron it. And once again, we're going to speed it up a little bit here for you. But I did go kind of slow and just taking my time, trying not to get on the black portion because it will melt that glue. And so I just kept ironing back and forth until everything was attached. And then, just like we did earlier, we're going to sand down those edges once everything was attached. This is just really smooths it out and really removes it nicely. I'm going to paint the excess little black parts in a white. This is Waverly chalk paint in the white. And I did a couple of coats, maybe 2.5 coats as needed. I didn't have to do the top portion, although I did because we are going to add greenery and flowers, but I did just to make sure everything is cohesive and it just flows well. So I did say we're going to add greenery. Now I'm going to take some of these eucalyptus picks and we're just going to start cutting a few and we're going to make a little swag. And the way I make them, I just place several picks facing each way. I'm going to take some white nautical rope from Dollar Tree, roll around in the center, secure it in place with hot glue, and then we are going to hot glue it towards the top of the design, giving it a little bit of a curve kind of design so it drapes down in the shape of the round circle. This beautiful flower is also from Walmart. It's a gorgeous pick. It did have these green leaves. I'm just going to add those right around the flower. I think it adds a pop of color and just dimension to the whole design. Once I added the leaves, then it's time to add another hanging piece. This one I'm just going to use nautical rope from Dollar Tree, hot glue, and tape. And I think this one is absolutely gorgeous. Oh my word. The colors, the design. Can you believe we use a calendar page? How stunning is this? Let me know what you think of this one. We're going to start with the little one. They come in two different sizes, a larger and a smaller one. I'm going to take one of the smaller ones and we're just going to remove the lid because we're not going to need it and the sticker. We also want to wipe them really, really well because they do get a little dusty and smudges get on them really easily. The first thing we're going to do with this one is add jute string to the thread, to the top portion. And that's only because it'll be easier now than later after I've added more on it. I'm going to secure it in place with hot glue. And then we're going to start layering some ribbon and fabric on the center. Now, this is leftover fabric. This is burlap fabric from Dollar Tree. I frayed the edges a little bit more by removing a couple of the strands. And I'm just going to wrap it around the center, securing it with hot glue. And then we're just going to continue to layer and just make it nice and festive. This fabric is also from Dollar Tree, leftover from another project. I'm going to cut off a piece just about maybe 1 inch thick, and then we're going to layer it right on top of the burlap fabric. And then we are going to do the same thing with this bright yellow ribbon from Hobby Lobby and just add it right there, right in the center of everything, again, securing it with hot glue. Now, we do want to add some florals on it, but you can leave it as is if you'd like. I'm going to start with these little leaves from this pick from Walmart. I'm going to separate the leaves, and then we're going to take the little flower, remove the little stem, and I do want to darken up that center. I'm just going to add a little bit of brown paint and just dab, 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 just to add a little dimension and make it look a little bit more like a sunflower to match the design of the fabric. Once it's all done, I'm just going to attach it to the jar towards the right side. So it's going to be a little bit to the side of the jar, but you can place it in the center. It doesn't matter, wherever you want. Once the flower was attached, I'm going to add a couple of the leaves, one on each side with a little bit of hot glue. Now you can add whatever you want. You can use this for school purposes and maybe add pencils. You can also add paintbrushes, which is what I did in here in the display. But look how adorable this looks. The colors are stunning. What do you think? Let me know what you think of this one. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to take another one of those smaller jars, remove the sticker from the bottom and the lid. Now we are going to use this lid, so we're not going to put that away. We're going to take this wooden star, but you can use any wooden shape you have available in some foam from Dollar Tree. We're going to attach the foam on top of the star, and then on the other side, we're going to attach the lid, just like that, with a little hot glue. I'm going to add a screw. Now I ended up just getting ahead of myself, and I added a screw that does not go through to the other side, and we did have to change that in just a little bit. But you see how the jar still attaches to it, and that's what we want. We'll get back to that screw here in a minute. I'm going to paint everything white. And again, I could have done this later. I don't know what I was thinking. But I just want to show you the process and what I did. I'm going to paint everything white, including the side of the lid. This is a piece of scrap 1x4 that I had in my garage. I'm going to sand down the edges just a little bit to remove splinters and any roughness. And then, of course, we do want to wipe it really well because we are going to paint it and we do not want to paint over dust. This plunger is from Dollar Tree. We're going to remove the stick from it, and we're just going to make a small little mark. I'm going to cut right there, as well as a little bit on the bottom with my miter saw, so it's nice and flat on both ends. Sand it just a little bit, dust it, And then I'm going to put my safety gloves because we are going to drill a couple of holes, one on each side of the stick. I'm also going to be placing a hole right there, just drilling it right there in the center of the scrap 1x4. We're going to attach everything together. I'm going to put a screw in from the bottom of the scrap 1x4, and then just like you see me here, just screw in the stick right onto the screw, just like that. Now, before we move on, I do want to add some of these felt pads. These are from Dollar Tree. I'm going to cut a large one into fours, and we're going to place one in each corner on the bottom of the piece. This is so that it does not scratch any surface, especially with the screw. It is a little wobbly because the screw is on there. So these little felt pads not only protect the surfaces, but also levels it out, making sure that it's going to stand nice and tall and not wobble on me. So there you have it. It's going to be nice and smooth. Now here I am removing that screw. I told you we'd get back to it. I'm just going to add one larger screw that goes through. You see that? Now we're going to attach the other side of the stick to it and just right there, just screw it on. And now we're going to paint everything. Now we're going to use Waverly Chalkman in the white, but you can use any color you want, of course, depending on the style, the season, if it's holiday themed, whatever you want. This floral pick is from Walmart, which I think it's gorgeous. I'm just going to start adding some of the florals, including the leaves right around the top portion in that foam that we placed earlier. I'm just going to add a little hot glue and keep adding until the entire piece is covered. All right, so because we are creating a lantern post, we do want to have some sort of lighting. Now you can add a full candle to the jar. That would be pretty actually. But I'm going to add some of these fairy lights that I do get on Amazon. And I do have them in my Amazon store, which linked down below if you want to check it out. I'm just going to place the battery pack right in there because to turn it off, we just have to unscrew the lid and turn it off. Look how adorable this looks. The colors, the style, it's not too tall, not too short, just perfect. What do you think? For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we are going to take one of the larger mason jars from Dollar Tree, remove the lid, remove the sticker, and wipe it really, really well. We're going to take some of these paper, this is just school paper, and we're just going to start tearing it into smaller pieces, some medium size, some smaller ones, and we're going to do 2 pages, but I ended up using about 1.5. We're also going to use some Mod Podge, and we're just going to start Mod Podging it all around the jar. Now, of course, I'm going to speed this up for you quite a bit because it did take a while. Just put on a music or a TV show and just start Mod Podging it, adding it on the jar, and then making sure that you add another layer of Mod Podge on top of the paper. Oh my gosh, this is so fun. I love Mod Podging. This is what it's looking like. So it has a school paper theme. We're just going to trim off some of that excess paper from the top. We are going to cover the thread, but at least we'll trim that off. We're going to layer some ribbon just like we did earlier on the first craft. This one's going to look a little different. We're just going to start with this burlap ribbon from burlapribbon.com or burlapfabric.com. And we're going to attach it with hot glue. And then again, we're going to layer several ribbons just to make it look nice and layered and textured. And then we're going to follow up with this white one and then a small thin blue one. All right, it's taking shape so nicely. So we're going to add white ribbon to the top thread. This is just to clean it off and just kind of make it look nice and finished. And just a little hot glue in the beginning and the end will do. Now, I want this to be kind of like a teacher gift. So like a first day of school teacher gift that you can give your kiddos to give to their teacher. So I am going to take one of these new pencils from Dollar Tree. I'm just going to cut it off, leaving about 4 inches, give or take. And then I'm going to sharpen it just like that. And it's going to look like a small little tiny pencil. How cute. Now we're going to start adding some embellishments. We're going to add these little floral picks and these little blue florals from Walmart. Gorgeous colors. It complements the design so beautifully. we're going to add them right there, and then we're going to add the pencil right there towards the left side on a tilted motion there. How adorable is this? You can add pencils, you can add pins, even a floral arrangement. Love, love, love the way this one turned out. But let me know what you think down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to take a smaller jar from Dollar Tree and we're going to remove the lid, the sticker, and of course we want to wipe it really well. For this one, we're going to give it 2 coats of Waverly chalk paint in the white, but again, if you want to do whatever the design, that's fine. Dollar Tree carries a vinyl that you can use with your cutting machine, but you can also use in multiple ways for crafting. I'm going to take the black tone one and we're going to cut off a piece from it because we are creating a cow themed mason jar. Oh my gosh, it's going to be so cute. So we're going to take strips of this vinyl and we're just going to cut it into shapes of what will look like the fur of the cow. And we're going to do several pieces, but again, just cut as many as you need depending on the size of your jar. Once I had them cut into the amount that I thought I needed, I'm just going to start removing the back just like a sticker and placing them on what is now a dry jar. It looks so pretty and matte. And I'm going to start placing them here and there until the entire jar is covered. How adorable is this looking? All right, so we're going to take more of that jute string. We're just going to add it to the top. We're going to keep it simple, kind of like a farmhouse, cottage, country look for this one. We're just going to keep wrapping it around, covering most of that thread on the top and securing it with a little bit of hot glue. You can add ribbon, you can add florals, you can add whatever you want, of course, but I'm just going to keep it on the simple side. Now on the inside, we're just going to, again, keep it simple. We're just going to add some of this grassy picks from Dollar Tree. Cut some of the stem off because they are a little tall. Spread it inside of the jar and then add this little tiny pick from Walmart. And I think this is adorable. There's something about simple crafts that I just absolutely love. Quick, easy, and beautiful. What do you think of this one? Let me know. The first thing we want to do, of course, is remove that tag. A little heat from my heat tool works. Pull it off and then you want to clean it really, really well. Sometimes a lot of dust or smudges settle on these bottles. Dollar Tree carries vinyl, I'm sure you know by now, and their selection of colors are beautiful. I'm going to take a golden glittery one as well as an orange and yellow one. I am going to cut a piece from each and then I am going to use my shape hole puncher in the circle shape. I got this set at Amazon and I love using them. I use them all the time on my other crafting channel. If you do not know that I have another crafting channel, I do, filled with crafts that you can do with your kiddos. So I'm just going to punch several of these in each color. I did have a little too many of them of each, but that's okay. I'd rather have more than enough. So I'm going to start with the yellow ones, but of course you can choose whatever color you start with. And I'm just going to start placing them here and there to where it kind of makes sense. And then I'm going to move on to the orange and then the glittery golden one. I think this is looking so cute and what an easy project you can do. This would be so fun to do with your girlfriends and really any color scheme would be great. We're going to keep it simple. We're just going to add some jute string on the top thread, although you can leave it like this. You can add florals. You can add whatever you want to this. I decided to keep it again on the simple side. Now you can style it however many ways you want because it is fall themed. I am going to add some of these florals from Walmart. I think they look great with the color. Or you can keep it simple and just add one single flower, which is what I did. Love the way this one turned out. It's one of my favorites, but let me know what you think down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to take another bottle, of course, remove that sticker. Now, if you have a little bit left over that is just being a little stubborn and it leaves a little sticky residue, Dollar Tree has these Goo Gone little containers and it's just wipe it off really well. And then we just want to wipe the whole thing, of course, removing the oil from the glue gun and any smudges and dust. Taking some masking tape from Dollar Tree, we're going to just place it right down, kind of like in the middle, give or take. You can use painter's tape if you have that as well. I didn't have any. So I'm going to use this Waverly chalk pen in the dust colors, a beautiful soft blue. And I'm just going to start planing the top portion. Now, the key to getting no bleed for me is to add very little paint on your brush and just do kind of like a dry brush technique and just add several coats as needed. Of course, you just want to make sure that you do it very lightly so it doesn't pull the previous coat. And this is what it's looking like. Now, because this is a glass surface, I do want to seal that chalk paint. So I'm just going to cover the bottom portion with some paper, tape it in place, and then we're going to bring it outside and just spray it with this top coat. It's clear, it's a little glossy, and it's perfect. There it is, nice and dry, looking so pretty. Of course, my favorite part is removing the tape. Am I the only one? I just love that, especially when you have a crisp line. Doesn't always happen, but when it does, it's so special. All right, so we are ready to apply some decals here. Now, these window clings, Dollar Tree brings every single season, at least in my Dollar Tree, and they have these fall ones, so beautiful. I had this one left over from last year, and I'm going to use this bottom part here. It really complements the paint color very nicely, and we're just going to place it right there in the center towards the bottom of the clear portion. Now, if you see a little bit of bubbles, again, this is a cling, not a sticker. Remove it, place it back on. You can also use a towel and just kind of press on it softly, and it'll remove the bubbles for you. You can add whatever you want to this. Of course, it's your design. For me, I wanted to keep it very neutral, so I'm going to take some of this raffia and I'm going to wrap it around my fingers just a few times to create a very simple bow, tie it in the center, and this is what we're going to tie around the neck of the wine bottle. Now, again, you can use other ribbon, you can use florals, you can do whatever you want. I'm going to just fluff it up just a little bit and place it right there in the center. Now, I'm not going to place any frills on this one because, again, I wanted to keep it on the simple side. But you can use florals, you can use real flowers, you can use faux ones, whatever you want. I love these colors. These are great for fall. It has more of a neutral tones, but that window cling is the star of the show. Let me know what you think of this one. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to take this print that I made using my Canva, and I just printed it on my printer, and I'm going to cut off a little piece of this pink vinyl from Dollar Tree. We're going to tape it to the surface because it was quite curled, and then we're going to place some carbon paper in between, and we're just going to trace the outside of the leaves. We'd made it into 2 different sizes, but again, you can do whatever you want. I do have a copy of these same printouts in the description box, just a link that you can go in and download and print as you want. So check it out if you want to. All right, so once they were traced, I'm just going to cut them off, and then we're going to use them as stickers. Just peel off the back and place them in different areas of the wine bottle. Of course, we got to remove this sticker. And then once removed, we want to, of course, wipe it really well to make sure that the vinyl stickers really stick well. We're going to attach this last one here, and look how cute it already looks. Now, if you pick colors that are fall themed, wouldn't they be so cute just the way it is? All right, this frosted glass spray is from Rust-Oleum, and I am just going to take it outside and spray it just once, although you can do multiple coats if you want. I wanted it to be frosted, but not too much. So this is what it looks looking like when it is dry, and then, of course, we just remove the vinyl and reveal, and it's going to be nice and subtle, but so beautiful. Love the way this is looking, and I think you know where we're going with this. Now, these fairy lights I do get on Amazon, and I do have them on my Amazon store, which is also linked down below in the description box. We're just going to start opening them up and then just placing them. Because it is wired, they don't fall all the way down to the bottom, which is great. We're just going to place them all the way in and leave the battery pack hanging all the way in the back. So pick which side you want it to be the front. I'm going to use alien tape to attach the battery pack, although you can use hot glue, but sometimes it does come off. So using alien tape really works well. So I'm going to do the battery pack first, and then just take another small little piece and put it on the neck. And then this is just what's going to hold that wire nice and snug. We're going to wrap the top using some of this burlap ribbon, and we're just going to attach it with hot glue. And then we are going to layer several things, several ribbons. One is going to have more of this buffalo check style, and we're just going to place it kind of like fold it in half, place it in the center, and then a yellow one right on top of that one. And I know I say this a lot, but really you can add whatever you want at this point. You can leave it like this. I decided to add a small little pick and a leaf, keeping it simple. Not only does it look fantastic during the daytime, but at night it has this beautiful glow. Absolutely stunning. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to take another bottle, of course, remove the sticker, and wipe it really, really well. Now, I am going to do something very kind of different with this one. I'm going to take this fabric from Dollar Tree. These are from their fall selection from last year's stash. I'm going to open it up and cut it into 4 sides. That's it. Just cut it into 4s. Then I'm going to take a dowel and I'm just going to wrap it right there, like just like you see, right down the middle of each fabric, and place it right inside the bottle. Once again, we're just going to place it in the middle and then place it. I tried doing it with the whole fabric. It didn't work. It bunched up. It just didn't work. If you cut it into 4 pieces, it works really, really well. Then we're going to place the last one. We just want to ensure that the front of the fabric, it's what's showing on the outside of the bottle, just like that. For this one, we're going to do the same thing as earlier. We're going to wrap the neck of the bottle using some burlap ribbon. We're going to add it with some hot glue, wrap it around. We're not going to layer this one. We're going to keep it quite like this, but we are going to do something very special and different. Once I had this attached, I cut off the excess, and then we're going to take a neutral color ribbon. It's a little bit on the thinner side, and we're going to hot glue it on the back at an angle. And then we're going to wrap it around the front of the bottle like a beauty queen satchel. You know what I'm talking about? And we're going to attach it towards the other side with a little hot glue. Cut off the excess. This is going to give us a surface where we can then hot glue florals, although it looks gorgeous like this. We're going to start adding some leaves and some flowers and some pigs. Again, add whatever you want. And as I'm adding this last little pig, I think this one is one of my favorites. I love the design of the florals going from one side to the other. The fabric just next, just beautiful. I love the blue tones. Let me know what you think of this one. Just going to start gluing blocks together long ways. We're going to create a row of 4, and we're going to do this several times, as a matter of fact. So just keep following me along here. Once you have all 4 glued, we're going to glue those together, and we're going to create a total of 8 rows with 4 blocks in each and hot glue them together, just like you see here. And it's easier to go row by row than one by one on the larger block. Once you have that, then we're going to build 2 smaller ones with 2 rows of 4 blocks each. And it's all going to come together, and you're going to see how fun this is. It doesn't matter if you use the darker or the lighter tone blocks, because we're going to paint it anyways. All right, so here I'm building my last section. Then we're going to hot glue them together. So you should have a larger block like this, and then 2 smaller ones just like this. Now we're going to paint them. I'm going to use this Waverly chalk paint in the moss color. It's just gorgeous, and it's a great color for fall if you're not into that orange bright color. Then we are going to put that to the side. Now, the smaller ones, we're just painting the edges. So not the top, not the back, basically just the edges, just like you see me doing here. And then once dry, we are going to add Mod Podge to the top, and we're just going to spread it and let that dry. If you're new here, this is a new technique that basically you just want to add Mod Podge to any surface, let it completely dry, and then you can add paper or fabric to it, and I'll show you how fun. While those 2 are drying, I'm going to sand down just a little bit the larger block. This is just to distress it a little bit and really make all the texture pop. I'm going to iron just a little bit this beautiful fabric. This is from last year's fall stash from Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to cut 2 pieces. They're about 2 inches thick, give or take. This is what we're going to use to cover and place on top of those 2 blocks where we added the Mod Podge. So the Mod Podge is dry and we're going to place the fabric. Now normally I would say use some parchment paper, but for with this one, it didn't really need it. It was a small piece and it worked really well. The Mod Podge was not seeping through. Look how good that attaches. Isn't that beautiful? So basically, again, just place it on top of the dry Mod Podge and then use a little mini iron or your regular iron. It's fine. I do have one of similar mini iron in my Amazon store, which is linked below if you want to check it out. There it is. It's nicely attached, not going anywhere. All right, so now we're going to cut off the excess fabric from the sides, and we're just going to cut off with my scissors as well as my X-Acto knife. And now let's put everything together. We're going to hot glue the two pieces right in front of the larger block, leaving about equal space in between and on the sides, just like that. And then we're going to add one of these wooden stems from Dollar Tree and place it on top. We're creating what will look like a little pumpkin. We're going to use a raffia and we're just going to wrap it around my 3 fingers, tie it in the center, and then fluff it up just a little bit. We're going to hot glue it right there to the base of the stem. And then I'm going to add some greenery because it just feels like it needs something, a pop of color, texture. So I'm going to add one there in the middle and one towards the top, a smaller one. And then we're going to add a couple of blocks to the bottom. This is so that we can stand the pumpkin and it's not going to wobble and fall on us. But look how adorable this is. I love the colors, the design. Love how easy it was, how fun. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, I'm going to introduce you to my miter shears. This is a great tool to have when you are using these blocks because it does cut through them very easily. That being said, for some reason, I feel like they cut better in the lighter tone ones than the darker ones. I don't know why. Let me know if this happens to you if you use miter shears with them. All right, so we cut off about a third of one of the blocks, and we're just going to hot glue it in the center and then hot glue 2 blocks on each side of it to have a total of 5 blocks and then the middle one cut off. Then we're going to start hot gluing 2 sets of 4 blocks and then 2 sets of 3 blocks and then 2 sets of 2 blocks and then just have 2 little blocks by themselves. So here's what you should have. The 5 piece with the smaller one in the middle. You should have 2 pieces that are 4 blocks each, 2 pieces with 3 blocks, 2 pieces with 2 blocks, and then the 2 pieces by themselves. And we're going to put everything together. We're going to hot glue the 4 piece in front of the 5 piece and one on the back, just like that. And we're going to repeat this with the one with the 3 block and the 2 block and the 1 block. We're creating little tiny pumpkins. These are 3D, so cute. I cannot wait for you to see these. All right, so now that we have one, I made 2 and they look just like this. Don't worry about the hole in the middle. We'll take care of that. All right, so for the first one, we're painting that beautiful moss color once again by Waverly. Now, here's why, my friends, I love Waverly chalk pen and chalk pen in general. The Waverly just took 1 coat. The other one is supposed to be chalk paint. I got it on Amazon. It really isn't. It just didn't have great coverage, so I had to add 2 coats. And it's still not full coverage, but it's okay. They dried beautifully. I'm going to add 1 more black in the darker tone right there in the center after adding a little bit of hot glue right there in the middle. You can pound it in if you need to. And then we're going to add a couple of leaves again, just for color and texture and design. And then we're going to add the same thing on the other one and then smaller ones, smaller little tiny picks just for layered texture. And I think these are gorgeous. Oh my word, you can do multiple of these. You can make white ones, blue ones, whatever you want. But I would love to know what you think of this one. Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to start with this framed board from Dollar Tree. It does have a metallic center, and I am going to tape off the edges because we are going to paint it here in just a bit. Then I'm going to line the entire edge using the blocks. This is to create a thicker, textured, kind of planked look. And it doesn't matter what colors you use. Again, we're going to paint it. You can use your miter shears if you need to fit smaller pieces right inside. Once completely covered, we're just going to paint it. And again, I'm going to stick with the same color just to create a cute little vignette with the same color scheme. But again, you can use whatever color design you want. Once done covering it and painting it, I'm just going to remove the tape before it dries and then set it to the side. And it does not take long to dry at all. Once dry, we are going to just dress it just a little bit. You can skip this part, of course. This is always optional. I just like to kind of give it a little bit of dimension, a little bit of distress. All right, so dust it really well. Now we're going to bring in these Dollar Tree window clings. I have some left over from last year's stash. They have great designs and they're beautiful for crafting. So fun. I'm going to use this pumpkin because it complements the color beautifully. And then I'm going to just line around the edge with this nautical row from Dollar Tree using hot glue. Now the window cling does stick to the metal very nicely, but it does not stick permanently and strong. Now it'll hold if you just want to display the frame, but if you're going to gift this, sell this, whatever you want, make sure you spray the back, Mod Podge the pumpkin, whatever you need. All right, after the rope was attached, I added a little piece of foam right there to the left corner and added some florals to add texture and pop of that beautiful fall orange color. Love the way this one turned out. It's such an easy project. Let me know what you think. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to take some foam board. I always have these on hand for crafting. It's so fun. I'm going to take this little piece and I'm going to use this bowl to trace it. You can use whatever size you want. This is just what I had and I wanted to make something kind of like on the smaller side. I'm going to use my X-Acto knife to cut it off. This is a very sharp X-Acto knife and it works so good. I'm going to spray the top with adhesive spray and then cover it with this beautiful bluish tone design craft paper and then cut off the excess again with my X-Acto knife. Once trimmed, I'm going to use that piece and then I'm going to trace another piece on the foam board because I do need it to be a little thicker and not as thin. Do your very best to stay within the circle, but please know that it is not necessary to have a perfect circle. I trimmed off some edges to make sure they both have the same style and size. And now we're going to start hot gluing blocks all around the edge. Now I am alternating the colors in light and dark, but you can use all dark, you can use all light, whatever you want. You can also paint them if you want. Then I'm going to layer another one on top of it, just hot gluing ever so lightly, about 1/4 of an inch inside of the edge. Now we're going to add some florals. This is a beautiful feathery-like peak from Dollar Tree. And then I'm just going to add some vibrant oranges and then some blue ones to kind of pull from that blue color in the center. These are all from Dollar Tree. And then we're going to hide the stems with one leaf right there. You can also add a bow if you want, whatever you want. I'm going to add a piece of rope just to the back a little bit with hot glue as well as masking tape. This is so that we can hang the piece. It's not a heavy piece, but it's gorgeous. Oh my gosh, all the textures, all the colors, beautiful style, and you can do whatever color scheme you want. What do you think? Let me know what you think of this one. This one here has great shape and texture, and the size is awesome. I'm going to remove the sticker from the bottom using my heating tool and weighting tool, and I'm going to wipe it really well, including the inside. I'm going to mix paint and Mod Podge. Now, this craft did not turn out the way I thought it would, but I'm going to show you the process. So I wanted this to have more of a frosted orangey look, almost like a see-through, like a stained glass with an orange tone. It did not work. I don't know what I did wrong. But anyways, I'm still going to show you the process. I let it dry. I added one full coat on the inside and faced it directly on the open side towards a fan. I'm going to show you. Anyways, for the lid, I'm going to give it one coat of this Waverly chalk paint in a mint tone. And then I am going to then do a brighter green to give it a little bit more of that brighter tone. Here's what it looks like. And it looks messy, blotchy. I did 2 coats. It did not work. That's okay. We're going to move on. I want to take one of these window clings from Dollar Tree. You know, I love working with these. They come in every season. And I'm going to use this one. And I really thought it looked great. And it did. It actually molded onto the design of the jar, which was perfect. And it covered a lot of those smudges from the inside of the jar. Now I'm going to hot glue a couple of these wood stems on the larger side on top of each other to make a larger, taller stem. And I'm going to use one of these larger green leaves, add a fall leaf right on top. All of this is from Dollar Tree, friends. And then one of these little orange berries. And I love the way it turned out afterwards. But you can still see the smudges. And that's okay. You live and learn, and I'm going to figure that one out. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to take this adorable glass jar. I love how tiny it looks, and you can use it standing up like this or standing on its side, which is perfect if you want to use it for storage in your home. Again, I'm going to remove the sticker from the bottom using my heating tool and wipe it really well. I'm going to take one of these hole punching designs that I got on Amazon. They come in a pack of 6, and I love this little flower one. It kind of looks like a leaf. That's why I grabbed it. And I'm going to take this vinyl from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to start punching a few of them. And then using them like stickers, I'm going to place them all around the jar. Once I have them where I want them, I'm just going to take it outside and spray paint it in this white Rust-Oleum spray paint in a flat tone. A couple of coats did work, and then I'm going to bring it inside, but I did seal it with a top coat. I forgot to film that portion, but I did seal it to make sure it's not going to scratch off. Once it's dry, I'm going to take pieces of foam. These are from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to hot glue them to the top of the lid. And then we're going to start adding floral picks from Dollar Tree. I'm going to add green ones and orangey ones and just these sunflowers, and just add it, make it nice and full, way bigger than the actual lid, but that's exactly what I'm looking for. All right, isn't this looking beautiful? I love the way it turned out, all those colors. Here's the jar nicely dry, and I'm going to remove all the stickers, revealing the glass on the other side. And we are going to add some fairy lights to this one. We did it, friends. Anyways, I'm going to remove all the stickers like I mentioned. And then the fairy lights that I'm using, I use all the time. I'm sure you're tired of hearing about it. They are the battery operated ones. And they have a very thin battery pack. I'm just going to turn them on, use them, and just place them right there. And the battery pack is going to go right inside because it's an easy open jar. But look how stunning this looks. Oh, and wait till you see it at night. It looks absolutely gorgeous. It's definitely my favorite from today. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to take this gorgeous jar. It's so elegant. They have larger ones and also this smaller one. Once again, I'm going to remove the sticker using my heating tool and then wipe the entire jar very, very well, although this one's not going to be painted. I'm going to remove the lid from it, and we're going to add some foam to this one as well. We're just going to add a nice piece right there in the center, and we're going to start by covering up with some moss. You can find moss at Dollar Tree. And then I'm going to add some embellishments, a floral pick and a foam mushroom and a foam pumpkin and a leaf. I want this to be like a little geranium of just floral designs. And I'm just going to add some of these leftover floral picks from other picks inside the foam items with some hot glue. That way they can stick onto the foam nicely. And the goal here is to add as much as you can without it being too bulky and going out of the sides, because we do need that lid or that jar to go right back on it. Once I had everything where I wanted it, I'm going to trim some of the moss because I don't want it to get stuck on the thread. So I thought here that I can actually attach it, but the floral pick was a little too long. So I'm just going to trim the longer parts of it and then place it back on, and it worked really well. Now you can leave it like this. Of course, it looks great. You can also spray paint the lid. I decided to add this plaid fall ribbon from Dollar Tree. I'm going to fold it just a little bit so it's more in an appropriate size, and then I'm going to attach it and hot glue it to the bottom around the lid. This jar is gorgeous. This is another one that you can add fairy lights to, and it will look beautiful. If you don't want to add too many foam items, you can add faux candles. Possibilities are endless, but let me know what you think of this one. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to take this adorable little jar, which is perfect for storing maybe cotton balls in your bathroom, but we're going to use it to make a super cute fall craft. Again, I'm going to remove the sticker from the bottom, and then we're going to take one of these hula skirts from the summer season at Dollar Tree. I recently made another little scarecrow using this, and it was so fun. I just figured, let me try another technique. So I'm going to take a piece that was left over from the other project, and I'm going to take some of the strands and just place them right there. I'm not going to get rid of the rope section because we are going to reuse it here in just a bit. We're going to put the lid back on, and then we're going to take some black vinyl from Dollar Tree. We're going to make an oval to create a couple of eyes. I did have to trim it a little bit, but I'm going to cut both eyes at the same time. That way, they're both going to be the same size and shape. Then I'm going to take the orange vinyl, and I'm going to cut a very thin triangle. This is going to be the nose for the scarecrow. I'm going to cut that, and then we're going to place it in the front of the jar, starting with the eyes and then moving on with the nose. I decided to add a nice wiggly mouth. I thought at first I didn't want to add it, but I'm glad I did. I think it needed it. So I'm just going to be nice and thin, and we're just going to place it right there at the bottom. Perfect. All right, so now we're going to take some burlap ribbon, and we're just going to hot glue it around the rim of the lid. We're going to do it all the way around to the back, attach it to itself, and then we're going to scrunch it at the top. And this is what we're going to use to make a cute little hat for our scarecrow. We're going to use the leftover rope and strands that we had from earlier, and we're just going to tie it around in a very simple knot. How adorable is this? You can add whatever you want to the top too, maybe even a floral too. I decided to keep this one nice and simple. I'm going to add a few extra little strands towards the side. That way it looks like all those little strands are coming out of the hat. And then to finalize things, I'm going to take my white marker, and I'm going to just add some details to the eyes. Just some highlights to make it look nice and cute. And he's adorable. Oh my gosh, this would be a great craft to do with your kiddos too. I love how simple it was and yet festive. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. We're going to start with a round one, of course, and we're going to remove the paper, and then we're going to take it outside and just spray paint them. I'm going to do a lot of spray paint today because it does work really well on the metal, but you can certainly paint as well. I did a couple of light coats, let it fully dry. For this first one, I'm going to take the ink Waverly chalk pen, and I'm just going to distress it just a bit, adding a few, almost like it looks like it's been chipped through the years. And I'm just going to add here and there where it would naturally wear, and then I am going to let it dry. And then after it's dry, we're going to spray it. I'm just going to do a clear top coat. This is kind of like a glossy one, but you can use whatever you have on hand. It's just that this is metal, so I didn't want it to scratch on me. So if one heavy coat was great, while that dries, I'm going to take this metal Thankful that I got at Target Dollar Spot years ago. I still had it laying around, so I'm going to take it outside, spray paint it with this Rust-Oleum flat black. And then while that's dry, I'm going to take a Dollar Tree fabric. Every season Dollar Tree brings beautiful fabric, and this season is no exception. I'm going to take a piece of this one. Now I didn't measure, but I would say it's about 7 or 8 inches thick, and I'm just going to iron it just a bit to remove all the wrinkles. And then I'm going to do something that I haven't done in a while. I'm going to use adhesive spray on the back of the fabric. I'm just going to make just one spray and then bring it onto the center. Start in the middle, work my way outwards. And even on the ridges, on the side, on the edges, it stuck really well. I was very surprised. So anyways, I'm just going to stick it as best as I can, flip it over, and cut off the excess using my X-Acto knife. I'm going to repeat the process with this burlap ribbon from burlapfabric.com, and I'm just going to adhesive spray the back, place it, and then flip it over, and then we're going to cut off the excess. So easy, so quick. All right, so now that the Thankful is nice and dry, I'm just going to hot glue it onto the burlap ribbon, and a little hot glue went a long way. Now we're going to add some embellishments to the top, so we're going to take some burlap ribbon, we're going to make a very simple bow, tie it in the center with jute string, and we're going to do the same exact thing with another ribbon, an orange one. This one's from Dollar Tree. I love that it has that white stitching on the edges. I'm going to dovetail cut the edges, but you can do whatever you want. You can angle cut them if you'd like. Join them together with jute string and then hot glue it to the top. Flip it over. I'm going to add a nice little string here just to make sure that we have something to hang it with. We're going to flip it back to the front. We're just going to add a few extra little embellishments. These greenery in between the bows will add a nice texture and pop of color to complement the fabric. And then this teal blue pumpkin. How stinking cute! I love the way this one turned out. I love them all, but this one has just texture and layering, and I love it. But let me know what you think of this one. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to take another pizza pan, remove the paper, and we're going to spray it again. But this time we're just going to do half of it. Again, we're going to take it outside and do a couple of coats, light ones. And it's nice and breezy and sunny today, so it dried really quick. Once dry, I'm going to take it inside. Now, I don't have painter's tape. I wish I did. I need to buy some. Masking tape will do for now. I'm just going to tape it halfway and then tape some paper to cover all of the white area and take it back outside and spray paint it. I don't know what happened to my spray. It stopped working. Like, it literally stopped working. Brand new can, I don't know. So we took it outside after it dried, and we're just going to do it by hand. This is Waverly Chalk Pen in the pumpkin tone, which is beautiful. I'm just going to do a couple of coats to make sure that it's going to be nice and covered. Put it to the side and let it dry. Once dry, remove the paper. Now, it did remove a little bit of the white paint, so I'm just going to dry brush a little bit of white chalk paint just to kind of fill in those little spaces. No big deal. It dried really quick. All right, so these transfers are from Essential Stencil. I had them left over from last year. I'm going to cut off the corn stalk as well as the scarecrow, and we are just going to start placing. And the way you attach these, basically you just want to scrape it on and pull the plastic as you attach. And you'll see it attach. It's so fun. So I added the corn stalk in the center, and then we're going to add the scarecrow on the white portion. I contemplated leaving it as is, but I decided to add a few little leaves that came with the set just around it, just to fill in some of the white spaces. Took it outside. I'm going to spray paint it with that top coat. That way it's going to be nice and sealed. Oh boy, the colors on this one is gorgeous. We're going to flip it over. We're going to add that string here before we add the embellishments. We're going to hot glue and tape for extra security. Flip it back over to the other side, and this time we're going to take several ribbons in different colors that complement the design, and then we're going to dovetail cut the ends. Once I have them dovetail cut, I'm just going to crisscross them, alternating the colors, and tie it in the center with some jute string. Once they were attached, I'm just going to fluff them up just a little bit, separating the strands, and then hot glue it to the other side, just like that. And then I'm going to add this sunflower. It's from Dollar Tree, and it has a clip. I am going to remove it, add plenty of glue, and then we're going to center it right there in the center of everything and all of the ribbon. And I love the way this one turned out too. I told you I love them all, but this one has such great colors, and it's just screaming fall. What do you think of this one? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, I'm going to take another pizza pan, remove the paper, and we're going to spray it again, half of it in white. I promise this one's going to be different. A couple of coats and let it dry. Then I taped it and sprayed the other side in the teal blue by Rust-Oleum. Beautiful color. And once everything was dry, removed the paper and sealed everything with the top coat. Gorgeous, gorgeous. All right, so now we are going to take this stencil from Essential Stencil as well. We're just going to use the Hello Fall right there in the center. And I'm just going to stencil it using Waverly Chalk Pen in the white and my favorite stenciling brush, which I get on Amazon. And I do have them in my Amazon store if you want to check it out. It is linked down below. I decided to do the Hello on top, and then I kind of placed the fall a little bit more to the left, but it was a little tilted. I'm fine with it, but I wish it was a little straighter. Now, while that dries, I'm going to take this blessed round, and I'm just going to cover it up with fabric. This is leftover fabric from last year from Dollar Tree, and we're going to take some pillow stuff in. We're going to stuff it. So I'm just going to hot glue the edges just a little bit, just a portion. We're going to start stuffing it with the pillow stuffing and continue to secure everything around the edges. This is going to allow me to create a 3D plush pumpkin. I also did add staples in the back. I didn't want to forget to tell you that. All right, we're going to use my miter shears and I'm going to cut this stick that came straight from the outdoors. And we're going to use that as the stem, hot gluing it at the top. We're going to take a couple of ribbon, this beautiful plaid one from Dollar Tree and the burlap ribbon from earlier. We're going to make a couple of simple bows, stack them on top of each other, securing it with jute string in the center. And then we are going to cut off the excess ribbon and then hot glue it right there at the bottom of the stem on the fabric so it attaches really well. I'm going to add one cute little pumpkin right there in the center. And this is what we're going to add on the white portion of our round. I'm going to add plenty of hot glue and placing it right there. So fun. Before I forget, we have to flip it over and add some ribbon so that we can hang it. I decided to add colorful ribbon because that way it just adds more color to the entire design. Hot glue and masking tape did the work. We're going to flip it to the other side and then we're going to take these Dollar Tree fall leaves and we're just going to place them here and there around the design. This is going to make it look like the leaves are falling and I love the fall season for that. Again, just adding some here and there just to add color and texture, and this one is also gorgeous. I love that we added that 3D plush pumpkin, the colors, the hello fall. I love it, but let me know what you think. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to take another pan. This time it's a cake pan, although it can be used for deep dish pizzas. We're going to take it outside, spray paint it white. We're going to do the front as well as the back. And then, of course, once it's dry, we are going to seal it with the spray paint or the clear one. That way, again, it's not going to scratch up on us. Once dry, we're going to start adding some embellishment. We're going to snug it all up right inside on the bottom portion of it. We're going to add these green leaves, one facing one way and the other. And then we're going to start adding pumpkins and mushrooms and more greenery and leaves and just make it nice and festive. But as I was working on this thing, I said, you know what? I feel like I need something on the top. So I found this beaded, kind of like small little garland, and it has a blessed pumpkin in the center. And I just thought, how cute would it be to be able to add this on top? And I did. So I added hot glue to the back of the blessed portion, and then I added hot glue around the beads on the bottom, and it secured it in place. Now I'm going to add a tiny little bow with some raffia ribbon just to kind of add and hide all that glue at the top, and then hot glue it right there. So easy. All right, so we're going to add those greenery and more leaves here. I thrifted this taper candle holder a while back. It was 99 cents, and I thought it would look gorgeous if I just hot glue this whole piece, and it worked. I could not believe it worked. It looks great, although you can add a hanging piece to the back. I think having it on this base looks absolutely stunning, but let me know what you think of this one. That I love crafting with their calendars. They have great designs for every season. I'm going to take this Happy Harvest one and I'm going to cut out the pumpkin. I'm going to use my X-Acto knife, but of course you can use your scissors if you'd like. Once I had it cut, I'm going to use the new technique that you've probably seen me using and are probably tired of hearing about it. I'm going to put some Mod Podge on the back of it and I'm going to put it to the side to let it dry. It's about a light to medium coat. While that's dry, I'm going to take some of this greenery and I'm going to start making a swag. I'm just going to start adding greenery and florals and tie it in the center. All right, so the plate we are using for this craft is this beautiful navy blue one. Gorgeous. It's actually from their summer collection, but it's perfect for fall decor. I love the finish that it already has, but I do want to distress it a little bit. But of course, you can skip this part if you want. I'm going to use the light grit on my sanding block, and I'm just going to do the edge back and forth, keeping the same direction, and then I'm going to wipe it really, really well. This is going to make all those ridges and edges really pop. Once the Mod Podge was dry, I realized that the pumpkin was a little too wide, so I'm just going to trim it using my scissors. Now remember, the Mod Podge is fully dry. Now I'm going to take my little mini iron, and I'm going to iron it on. This is a great technique, but I hadn't used it on a plastic plate and I was a little nervous. I'm going to put parchment paper right on top and I'm just going to start ironing it, and it actually attached beautifully. Boy, did this work. Now the little edges was still a little bit over the little edge, so I just used a little tip from the iron and it attached so beautiful. Now When it was dry, the pumpkin actually distressed a little bit on the bottom, but it's okay. It worked out. I'm going to attach the little swag on the top with some hot glue, and then I'm going to add one of these leather pumpkins from Dollar Tree. They have a little clip, but I'm going to remove that, add hot glue, and add it right there. They also have these little acorns that I really loved. They're foam, and I'm just going to add a little hot glue and add it right there next to the pumpkin just for added texture and design. And I love, love, love this plate. You can put it on a picture holder or a plate holder. Love the way it turned out, but let me know what you think down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, I'm going to take this beautiful orange ceramic plate. It's a dessert kind of type of plate. I'm going to take one of these window clings. Now, you know I love using these as well for crafting, and I have a ton left over from last year's season. This autumn one is gorgeous, and I'm just going to place it right there because the plate has this very shiny finish to it. It attaches so good. It's probably one of the best crafts with these clings. You can't even tell that the cling is there. All right, moving on. I'm just excited. All right, so I want to take one of these wooden stems from Dollar Tree. Now, it has a lot of like imperfections, and I love it. So I'm going to leave it just like this and attach a popsicle stick to the back. Reinforce it really good with hot glue. And then we're going to cut off the excess because we want to attach it and kind of give it a pumpkin look. The plate is orange. You can't blame me for making it a pumpkin, but of course you can skip the stem portion if you want. Once attached, again, I'm going to reinforce it just a little bit with the hot glue. And then we're just going to start making little bows. Now this is raffia, but of course you can use ribbon, jute string, whatever you have on hand is fine. I'm going to wrap it around my fingers a few times, tie it in the center with some jute string, remove the excess, and then we're just going to hot glue it underneath the stem, just right there. I'm going to layer another ribbon, and I'm going to use this pumpkin ribbon from Dollar Tree. It's a thin one. I'm going to make a very simple bow, tie it in the center again with jute string, and then hot glue it right there in the center on top of the other bow. And we're going to add one more of those little acorns right there. Now again, you can display this with on one of those picture holders or a plate holder, but I love, 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 love the way this one turned out. Let me know what you think down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, I'm going to use my Cricut Joy Extra. Now, I know that Cricuts can be a little expensive and not everybody has them, and I understand that. But if you're looking for an expensive machine, the Joy Extra is really good. So I have a link in the description box. All right, this is the plate we're using. Love the design. I love that it has actually texture just like wood. So we're going to dust it really well. And then after I had weeded out all of the excess vinyl, I'm just going to attach letter by letter the phrase "Hello Fall" right onto the center of the plate, and I'm just going to do it like stickers. I'm going to lightly place them, that way I can move them if I need to. Once I have them in a place where I want them, I'm just going to start pressing them with my fingers. I'm going to remain my drill and a drill bit. I'm just going to start drilling holes kind of like around the "Hello Fall" decal, and I did enough to fit these fairy lights. Not all the fairy lights are going to fit, but I did end up drilling even more holes and adding one more set of fairy lights because I wanted to have more lights, but you can use only one if you want. I'm just going to fold the wire really close to each little light bulb, and we're just going to place them right inside the hole. Now, as you can tell, not all the lights are being used, and that's okay, but I am going to drill more holes because I do want more. And I'm going to use masking tape to hold it in place, and that way it's not going to slip and slide and come out of the hole. Now I'm going to keep doing this until all the holes are filled. I attached the battery pack to the plate using hot glue as well. I cannot wait to show you how this looks. All right, so we're going to take a piece of foam. This is from Dollar Tree. We're going to hot glue it to the bottom of the plate, and we're just going to start adding florals. The florals are really going to complement the Hello Fall very nicely, and I'm going to hot glue and keep adding as needed. I'm going to add these yellow ones that I think truly brought everything together. Look how gorgeous this is. And not only does it look great during the day, but at night it has such a beautiful glow. Love, love, love the way this one turned out. But let me know what you think down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to take this clear plate. It looks like glass, but it's actually clear plastic. I'm going to carefully remove the sticker from the back. I have my heating tool in a lower setting so it doesn't melt the plate. I'm going to dust it really well. We're going to use another one of those clings because I just think it just looks gorgeous. This one says Happy Thanksgiving, and I know we're far away from Thanksgiving, but just want to give you the idea and the thought that you can use these clings in such fun ways with these plates. I'm going to center it and then start removing any bubbles. You can use your fingers. I also love using a towel because it's soft enough and it just glides through and it removes those bubbles really, really good. We're going to keep this one really simple, and we're going to make some faux knots. You've seen me do this before. Just make a very tight knot, remove the rope from the top as well as the bottom, and then hot glue it. I'm going to do 2 of them, and I'm going to hot glue them kind of separated. Usually I place them towards the top. This time I want to put them a little towards the top, but more towards the sides. Now, because the plate is clear, I cannot add hot glue because you'll be able to see it from the front. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over. I'm just going to add hot glue exactly behind each knot. And I'm just going to place the rope right there. And it's going to make it look like it's hanging from the knots, but of course it's not. Same thing on the other side. Now, usually I use masking tape on top of the rope so that it doesn't fray. But this time I don't want that tape showing. So I'm just going to add hot glue in between the bristles. And I'm going to do that until it hardens. And then I'll do it on both sides, and that's it. What an easy craft. Of course, you can use florals, you can use greenery, whatever you want. But I love the simplicity. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. This square one is such a fun one, and I wanted to do something with it. It's a 10 by 10, and we're just going to remove the plastic from it. Now, in a little bit, I'm going to show you how I'm going to use a different canvas using Cricut supplies. But for this one, the first thing we want to do is we want to trace it on some cardboard, put it to the side, and then add a layer of Mod Podge to the top. You've probably seen me use this technique before. We're going to put it on the sides and the top, and then let it fully dry. And while that is drying, we're going to cut that piece of cardboard we traced, and we're going to cut it just a tiny bit smaller than the line we traced. Then we're going to take the cardboard, and we're just going to trace it on top of some white vinyl. We're going to cut that up, and then we're going to place it right on top. If it's not perfect on the edges, that's okay. We're going to cover that up anyways. Just flatten it out as best as you can using your fingers. And then we are going to use the rotary cutter, and we're just going to cut off any excess on the sides. Now we're going to start placing some florals right there in the center. Now I saw a similar craft on Pinterest recently, and I thought I have got to try this with a Dollar Tree canvas, but 3D style. And this is where the 3D style comes into play. These florals are all from Dollar Tree, and we're just going to start placing them right there in the center, making them fluffy and very, very bright. Once that, we're going to put that to the side, and we're going to take one of Dollar Tree's fabric. This is one of the ones from their fall selection and has a beautiful plaid style. We're going to iron out just a little bit to remove some of the wrinkles, and then we're going to cut a piece that's maybe about an inch bigger than the cardboard on all sides. Now this is the canvas. It's all dry. We're going to take the little mini iron, the mini heat press, and we're going to place it right there with some parchment paper. And we're just going to iron that fabric. I'm going to do the sides as well. And then we're going to cover it up and finish it off with some hot glue and staples. We're just going to wrap this entire canvas just like it was, but with the fabric. I'm going to go all around adding hot glue as well as stapling it in every corner. Now I'm going to take my ruler, and we're just going to start making some crisscross lines inside the canvas. Several of them just going back and forth. And then I'm going to use my X-Acto knife, and we're just going to cut those lines, making sure that it goes through the canvas as well as the fabric. Once that's done, we are going to add hot glue, and we're going to place that cardboard with all of those florals right through it. And you're going to see here in just a minute the magic of it. All those flowers and all that decor is going to pop through. So this is called a blowout canvas. Isn't that awesome? It's just busted through the front. And we're just going to take those pieces that we cut off and we're just going to hot glue them kind of rolled outwards as if all of those flowers have busted through the center of the canvas. So fun and so easy. And of course, you can use any color combination you want. So we're going to attach this last piece right here. And then we're just going to add a small little jute string to the back. This is so that we can hang it. You can also add some maybe wood blocks to the back, and that way you can stand it up on a surface. But I think it's absolutely stunning. How fun, and so many options, so many possibilities. I'd love to know what you think of this one. Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, I'm going to take this canvas and we're going to remove, of course, the plastic. And then we're just going to paint it orange. We're just going to do this pumpkin orange tone by Waverly. We're going to do a couple of coats to it and then let it fully dry, of course. Now, Dollar Tree carries these as doilies, and often I see them in different colors for different holidays. But we're just going to stick with some of these white ones, and we're going to spray the back with some Gorilla adhesive spray. And we're just going to place a couple of the larger ones right there, one to each side, and then the smaller one in the center. I am now going to add a series of just greenery. These are some leftover leaves from other projects. And then we're just going to add some Dollar Tree picks here and there, adding tots of color and texture. Because the pumpkin, this is going to be a pumpkin, because the pumpkin is white, I want to make sure that there's a lot of color that's going to complement and bring everything together with the orange and the white. So I'm going to add several of these. And then I went outside and I grabbed a stick, just literally a stick. And I'm going to cut it into the size that I kind of want to see on this pumpkin. Now, I wanted it to stick out above the canvas. That's just a design I wanted, but you choose whatever you want. You can even use a Dollar Tree stems if you'd like, but I think it's gorgeous. I've never made anything like this before, and I love the way those doilies look, but I'd love to know what you think of this one. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to take two different canvases and we are going to take everything off from it, including all of the canvas. Now, this takes a little bit, so we're going to speed it up for you. Just take all the staples out very carefully, and then we are going to expose the frame. Now, sometimes you don't know what kind of frame you're going to get, you know? So we're just going to play with what we got. Now, this one was a little rough on the touch, so we're just going to sand it down just a little bit with my sanding block. And then we're going to paint the small one white, and then the larger one we're going to paint in the sandstone, both by Waverly. The sandstone is just a beautiful beige color. I wanted to keep the actual frames in a neutral color, but again, of course, you can choose whatever colors you want. We put them to the side, let them dry, and now we're going to join them together towards the left bottom corner, adding hot glue on the side as well as the bottom, right there. Then we're going to take some burlap ribbon. Of course, you can use any ribbon you want. I'm just going to cut it in half, and we're going to hot glue it in that left hand corner, just joining both pieces together. And now we're going to add greenery and florals in that corner. And I think this is, I can't wait for you to see it. It's such an easy and simple craft, but yet so full of character and color. Anyways, we're going to add the green leaves as a base, and then we're just going to add different colorful florals and picks from Dollar Tree. And again, I can't say it enough. You can add whatever you want. I did add a small little pumpkin. I just thought it would add so much character and texture, but I love the way this one turned out. How fun are these? You can hang it on the wall or you can place it on the tabletop. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. And don't forget to stick around so you can watch my mom's reaction to her gift. We are going to start with one of these stacked pumpkins from Dollar Tree. These are very cute, but they're not my style. So we're just going to make them a little bit more my style. And we're just going to remove everything from it, including all of the glitter that it has on the surface. I'm going to use my electric sander because it goes a lot quicker. But of course, you can use your sanding block if you like. I'm going to use my new hand vacuum. I got to tell you, this thing is magical. I'm going to have it linked in the description box. It's so fun. All right, once smooth, or at least as smooth as possible, we're going to wipe it well. And we're going to bring in this fabric. These are fabric bundles that you can get at Dollar Tree. This one has a nice navy blue color, and we're going to Mod Podge it using my newer Mod Podge technique. Well, it's not mine technique, but I learned it recently and I've used it several times. While the Mod Podge layer is drying, we're going to take the fabric and we're just going to iron it just a little bit, removing some of those wrinkles, making sure it's going to be nice and flat. And once the Mod Podge is dry, we're going to cut off a piece of the fabric and we're going to iron it. We're just going to iron it using some parchment paper. Basically, you just want to place the fabric on top of the Mod Podged surface, the parchment paper, and then just iron it. I'm using my mini iron, but of course you can use a regular iron if you'd like. I'm going to use my X-Acto knife. I'm just going to cut off the excess fabric from the sides. Of course, be very careful, but the sharper the X-Acto knife, the better, because fabric cuts really well, but it does kind of pull the fabric. So if you have a nice sharp X-Acto knife, it helps. All right, so we're going to take this first wallpaper, and basically what you want to do is you want to cut a piece that will fit, and then I did curve one end, and this is what's going to go on the bottom of the pumpkin, just like that. You want to peel it off just like a sticker, attach it, and again, we're just going to cut off the excess. And I completely forgot to sand down these edges, but I love doing that. So if you've seen me do that before, I think it would really look good. All right, so that is attached. Now we're going to cover the top pumpkin. We're going to do the same thing we did earlier. Add Mod Podge, set it to the side, let it dry. And for this side, we're going to take this towel from Dollar Tree. It's just one of those towels that you can get in the automotive aisle. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to cut one end in a curved design. We are going to add parchment paper on top of the towel, and then we're going to iron it. I didn't know if it was going to work. The towel is thick. I was nervous, but it worked. I was so happy. All right. The little things that makes us happy, right? All right, so we're just going to, again, use the X-Acto knife to cut off the excess towel. And for the top stem, we're just going to cover it using nautical rope from Dollar Tree. Hot glue and secure in the back with tape as needed. And then just very patiently wrap it around, hot gluing between each row. That way it's going to attach to each other. And then all the way to get to the top and hide that end as best as you can. You can also make the stem a little larger, maybe using some aluminum foil. The possibilities are endless. We're going to take this harvest, a little galvanized word, and we're just going to place it right there at the bottom with hot glue. And one of these beautiful sunflowers from Dollar Tree, remove the stem and add it right there to the top. We're going to add a few more little picks to the bottom two pumpkins just to add more embellishments, color, and design. And we're going to add one simple leaf to the top just to keep it simple up there. We're going to add some jute string, securing it with glue as well as masking tape, cutting off the excess, and look how stunning this stacked pumpkin looks. I love the colors. Would you use blue? Let me know down in the comments. Next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to take this wood round that came from I think it was like the Easter time. It is, because it has eggs. And I had it left over, and it has a nice truck, but we're going to remove parts of the top just to smooth out the surface. We just want to make it nice and smooth. I'm going to remove the beads temporarily. We're going to place them back on here in just a few. Once everything's smooth, sanded, and clean, we are going to cut off a piece of the wallpaper we're going to be using with this beautiful planked look. And then we are going to press it well, and then again use my X-Acto knife to cut off the excess wallpaper. And for this one, we did sand down. I did remember, yay, to sand down the edges because it makes it so much smoother, so much tighter to the edge. And it does not come off because it just makes it nice and smooth. So here I am sanding down in a downward motion. All right, so now we're going to take the beads and we're just going to remove them. And we're going to replace them with these larger ones. And then we're going to alternate different colors. We're going to do white and brown tone and then natural tone. I get these beads at the crafting aisle at Dollar Tree, and they're very nice to have on hand. I'm going to poke the hole through the wallpaper, and then we're going to thread the beads right through it. I'm going to take this foam pumpkin from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to cut off about 2/3 of it. I did cutting a little bit more, so it's going to end up about being half. And I cut half of this foam pumpkin as well, and about 2/3 of this little baby one. Now we're going to take the larger foam pumpkin, and we are going to just paint them. I'm going to take this mossy green from Waverly and just give it 2 coats. On the medium size one, we are going to paint it white with the Waverly chalk paint in the white. And the small one, we are going to paint in the sandstone by Waverly, and I did 2 coats on all of them. Once dry, we are going to attach them kind of like a little bit towards the right side of the wood round, and we're going to stack them right on top of each other, just like that. The colors complement the wallpaper beautifully. We're going to add a larger stem that came from a larger pumpkin, and we're just going to place it on top, and I think it looks great. All right, we're going to add some embellishments, some leaves and some little berries and some greenery, just whatever you want. Just keep it sized appropriately for the pumpkin stack. And we're just going to keep adding until we like what we see. Now, I felt like something was missing on the left side, so we're just going to add a couple of leaves, just to add a little bit more texture and color, and a little orange berry. And I think it turned out so adorable. Oh my gosh, it's one of my favorites. I love the colors. Let me know what you think, though, down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we are going to begin using this scrap piece of wood. I believe this is a 2x6 I had in the garage, and we're just going to sand it smooth using my sanding block. And of course, we're going to wipe it really well. We're going to use power tools on this one, so I'm going to use my glove to protect my hands. I'm going to add a stem to what will look like a more modern pumpkin. So I'm going to drill a hole on the stem as well as the top of the wood piece, and we're going to use a skewer stick, hot gluing it inside the holes to secure it in place, just like that. All right, so now we're going to take this gorgeous wallpaper. Now, let me know, be honest. Is it not fall-like? I think I make it work. Well, let me know in the comments. Do you think this will look good as a fall pumpkin? All right, so now it's attached. We're going to use my electric sander to sand down the edges. This is going to cause it to be very distressed on the edges and make it very smooth. I'm going to give you a close-up right here. You can see all that distress, and it's nice and smooth on the edges. We're going to leave the sides in the natural wood tone. We're going to take this felt pad. We're going to cut it into 4 pieces and add them to the bottom. This is just going to allow the pumpkin to stand on any surface without scratching it. We're going to add some embellishments, some leafy greens and a sunflower, and just make it nice and festive. And I think this really brought everything together. I wanted to use colors in the greenery and the flowers that complement the pink. So I think I did a good job, but let me know what you think. Is this just way too modern for it to be fall themed? I would love to know your opinion, but I love the way it turned out. I think I would have added a larger, longer stem, but what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to take this beaded little garland. I love that it comes already all set for us to craft with. You don't have to put it together. And for $1.25, I think it's worth it. We're going to use 3 different color paint, and we're going to paint the beads in an alternating just kind of pattern. We're going to do white and orange and blue, and then leave a bead in a natural wood tone. I'm going to be honest, leaving them on the thread was risky, but it worked out well. Some paint did get on the other ones. I tried to cover it up, and I think it did a good job. All right, put it to the side, let it dry. We're going to take a wood slice, and we're going to cover it with that same blue and white wallpaper from earlier. We're going to trace it, and we're going to cut it just a little smaller than what the tracing line was, so that we can see that wood slice kind of edge on the sides. Once attached, I am going to use my electric sander and distress those edges just a little bit to make it nice and smooth and transition to the wood nicely. Look how gorgeous that looks. So smooth. We're going to whiten that hole that was already there through the wallpaper and thread some white jute string, and then we're going to attach it to the bottom right next to the tassel. And then we are going to just add a couple little embellishments. I'm going to add a leafy green right there, and then we're going to add some leaves and some flowers that are going to complement the orange tone on the beads. And I got to tell you, this is a simple and easy craft, but it will look gorgeous hanging on a doorknob, or just hanging in a corner of a frame, or just adding it to a console table. The possibilities are endless. The colors you can use are so fun, but let me know what you think of this one. We're going to start with this Santa gnome. Now, it is kind of cute the way it is, but we're going to make it so much better that it could even be used as a front door wreath. We remove the nose, the tag, and we're also going to be removing the beard. We're going to take my wire cutters, and we're just going to cut off that bottom plastic portion. We just want to keep the cone hat. That's it. Now we're going to take a white tree. They do come in green as well as white. We're not going to need the base nor that little part. And then we're just going to open it up very little. We're not going to fluff it up too much. We want to keep it in the similar shape it came in. And then we're going to cut off that larger one from the bottom. Then we're going to attach it to the back of the hat, and we're going to flip it, and we're going to secure it with zip ties. These zip ties are from Dollar Tree, and they carry them in the automotive aisle. At least that's where I find them. And we're going to use 2 white ones. It does not matter if you see them in the front because we're going to cover that up anyways. And then once attached, I'm going to use my wire cutters and cut off the excess zip tie. All right, we're going to flip it over. We're going to fluff it just a little bit more. But don't worry, we're going to end up just adding so many details to this craft. All right, so we're going to take this red felt fabric, also from Dollar Tree, and we are going to cover the top. We're going to start in the front and work our way to the top as well as the back, and just hot glue it all the way in the back, keeping it as clean as possible, of course. We want to keep the excess on the top because I do want it to look a little bit more like a Santa hat. So we're just going to fold it, scrunch it, and just bring it towards the bottom. And then we're going to tie it with this rope, and we're going to hot glue it to the side, just like that. We're going to take this foam. It's actually a snowball, but I think it looks like a little pom-pom, so we're going to use it. And then we're going to use a larger ornament so that it looks like a nice big gnome nose. This ribbon has a fluffy kind of furry kind of look. I got it at Walmart last year, but you can definitely use Dollar Tree towels if you have that. We're going to hot glue it over the nose at the bottom just to give the Santa hat that fluffy, nice look at the bottom, and then securing it in the back with a little bit more hot glue. We're going to add these fairy lights. Of course, this is optional. You can also use Dollar Tree's fairy lights. They're battery operated. I got these on Amazon, but you get so much more bang when you get them on Amazon. But if you want to use Dollar Trees, of course you can. I'm just going to start wrapping it around all the bristles, and they are wired so they nicely hold onto the bristles. And then we're going to make sure that the battery pack ends up in the back, and we're just going to hot glue it in place just like that. All right, flipping it back to the front, we're going to add this greenery pick from Amazon, but you can use the ones from Dollar Tree. And these poinsettias from Dollar Tree, we're just going to add one right there next to it. And then to add a little more pop of color, we're going to add the leafy greens right there, and that's it. I think it's adorable. It started so cute, but I think now you can add this to your front door. It lights up at night, but what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we are going to take this leftover summer sign, and we are going to sand down all the glitter from the front to make it nice and smooth. Wipe it really, really well, and then we're going to cover it up with some just craft paper. So we're going to use this adhesive spray. We're going to spray a layer of it, and then we're going to cover it up. This craft paper came from a book that I got at Michael's a very long time ago. We're going to cover it up all the way to the bottom. We're going to sand down the edges using my electric sander. This just gives it a nice smooth finish as well as a distressed look on the edges. And then we're going to wipe it well, and we're going to bring in one of the green trees. These are the original ones, and again, we're not going to need the base. And then for this one, we're just going to fluff it up, but we're going to bring all the bristles completely down, facing downwards. Just going to give it a different look, and I actually prefer these trees when they have this look. We're going to cut off that longer one from the top, and then we want to cut off the bottom just to kind of make it nice and straight so that it fits flush to the bottom of the tag. Those leftover bristles, we're not going to put them to waste. We are going to hot glue them in between the rest of the bristles. That way it'll add some more fluffiness. Adding a ton of glue to the back, and we're going to hot glue it to the base or to the tag towards the left side. We're going to take these foam balls from Dollar Tree. We're going to take 3 medium ones and 3 small ones. We're also going to take 2.5-inch skewer sticks. We're just going to cut them, and we're going to hot glue them so that we can hot glue a medium one and a small one together. We're going to create 3 little small snowmen. I saw this on Pinterest, and I realized, oh my word, I have to try this using Dollar Tree items. So we're going to first do the little snowman, and then we're going to cut off some of the bottom of the back. We want the snowman to be able to sit flush on the flat surface, so cutting it with the foam cutter works really well. And then we're just going to start attaching them with hot glue, stacking them one on top of each other. We're going to add a lot of embellishments and a lot of details to the snowman, but I want to attach them first. I want this to look like the snowman are actually holding each other up as they're placing a star on the tree. We're going to give them each these little tiny scarves, and I'm just going to use fabric that I had at home, scrap ones, leftover felt fabric, and we're just going to slide it from the back, tie it in the front. Now, each little snowman is going to be facing a different direction, and this is why we glued each snowman first before we added any details. After I added the scarves, it's time to add some cute noses. Now, each skewer stick has that tiny pointy part. We're going to use that as the nose, and I'm just going to paint them using orange marker. And then we're going to cut them. And then we're just going to attach them using hot glue and start placing them exactly in the direction I want the snowman to be facing. So the first one, I want it to be facing towards, kind of like towards the front. The red one there, we're just going to add it towards the back. And then the other one is going to be facing directly towards where the star is going to be, just like that. We're going to add eyes using this marker, but you can also use paint if you have that. And we're just going to add them right there on the top. I want these to have buttons, so I am going to just poke some holes right here with my hole puncher in this black stock paper, and we're going to use the little dots as the buttons, and they worked really good. And of course, we want to add 2 on each little snowman. Now, I did go outside and grab some sticks because we needed some arms. So we are going to start with the bottom one, and the bottom one's going to look like he is holding the top snowman. So we're going to attach it to him as well as the bottom of the other snowman. And then we're going to keep attaching arms just like they're all holding each other and working really hard to get that star attached to the top of the tree. It's so adorable. Oh my word. Okay, so once the arms were attached, I'm going to take this leftover white towel from Dollar Tree. Just going to cut off a piece, and I want to add it to the bottom. This is going to look like a little bed of snow where the tree and the snowman are standing on. And hot glue does do the work. And then, of course, cutting off the excess. All right, for the star, if you have one that lights up, I think it would be even better, but I didn't have one. So I'm just going to use vinyl from Dollar Tree in a golden glittery, and I'm going to freehand a star. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm just going to do the best I can and cut it. And I'm not going to remove the back. I'm just going to hot glue it in place. And then we're going to add some of these tumbling tower blocks to the back. We're going to add 6 totals, 2 stacks of 3, and that way we can stand this tag in any surface, and I think it's so adorable. Oh my word. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we are going to take another one of the green trees, actually 2 of them. We're going to remove the base, and then we are going to join both of these together. First, we're going to fluff them up just a little bit, and then we're going to bring all the bristles to one side because we want to join them side to side. I have also joined them top of each other, and they look great. But for this project, we're going to just line them up right next to each other, and using black zip ties from Dollar Tree, we are going to tie them up. I used 3 of them. And then we're going to fluff it just as if it was one tree, but we're going to keep the back flat, just like you see me doing there. Now we're going to bring in this mesh ribbon from Dollar Tree. It has a beautiful green tone, and I'm going to cut 3 pieces in 8 inches long, and then some white jute string. And we're going to join all the ends together, just like you see me doing here. We're going to tie with the jute string, and we're going to create little bubbles. It looks just like little tiny little bubbles, and that way we can add these in between the bristles. So all I did again was cut off 8-inch pieces of the mesh, join them together in the points like in each corner, and then join them with jute string. I'm adding a little tiny glue in the knot so they don't come apart. And then I'm going to cut off the remaining or the excess on the top so that it flattens it out, and we can add hot glue. And this is then where we're going to attach it in between the bristles onto the base of the trees, just like that. Now I'm going to speed it up quite a bit for you because it's very repetitive. But here's important information that you may want to know. The first 3 were 8 inches long. Then I went down to 7, and then I went down to 6, and then I went down to 5 inches. And the reason why I did that is because the tree gets smaller as it goes down. So we want the bubbles to be smaller. But we did the same exact process. Just cut, tie in the knot, creating a nice little bubble, adding hot glue after you cut off the excess, and hot gluing it, inserting it in between the bristles to the base of the trees. And I'm just adding these last few here. Again, these are the tiny, small ones. And it just looks appropriate for the size of the bristles and the size of the tree at the bottom. We're going to create a very large bow. These are just ribbon from Dollar Tree. We're going to use 2 complete rolls, and these are 9 feet rolls. The first one we're going to use, and we're just going to create multiple loop bow, and they're all going to be large, the same width as the top of the trees. And then we're going to secure it in the center with white jute string. Then we're going to take another roll with the same type of ribbon, and we are going to create another bow with multiple loops. This one we're going to have some medium-sized loops as well as some smaller ones. And then we're going to attach that one on top of the other one with the jute string, and then we're going to attach the whole thing onto the top of the tree. I am going to use zip ties to attach it, but of course you can use jute string if that works best for you. I used 2 zip ties and I crisscrossed them so they are nice and secure, cutting off the excess. Now it's time to fluff and adjust as needed. And I'm going to add some of these red berries from Dollar Tree. This is going to go in between the bristles just like we did with the mesh. This is going to bring everything together with that red tone from the ribbon. And I think it's absolutely gorgeous. You can add lights to this as well, but this could be a beautiful wreath you could display in your front door, over a mantle, or wherever you want. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. We're going to start with this wood blank. These are found at Dollar Tree year round. I'm going to remove the jute string and I'm just going to give it one coat of this beautiful red crimson from Waverly. All it needed was one coat, and I'm just going to set it to the side to dry while I work on this beautiful gift bag, again from Dollar Tree. It has this wreath form and happy holiday sign in the front, and basically I just want to remove that top portion very carefully with my little tiny spatula. I want to make sure that the little sticky pad stays on the actual part that I'm going to be using. So I'm just going to carefully remove each one, and then we are going to then reuse the bag for gifting or other crafts. But we're just going to use this part. It had a little bit of a curve, so I'm just going to straighten it out as best as I can. And I'm going to bring my favorite fairy lights. I get these on Amazon, and I do have them in my Amazon store, which is linked below in the description box. Anyways, you can use Dollar Tree ones, but you get more bang for your buck when you buy them there. Anywho, we're just going to tape them using clear tape to the back of this wreath. Basically, I want to put them as close as possible to the edge and go all the way around. And then with the battery pack, that was a little tricky, but I was able to figure out that it basically, you just want to tape the excess wiring, and then you want to make sure that the little part where you can click on and off is facing outward, just like this. So tape the excess wire and then hot glue the battery pack right there. All right, so now that the wood round is dry, we're going to center the wreath form right there in the center, and then we're going to hot glue it, basically adding a little bit of dab of hot glue in each sticky tab from the back. This is going to allow it to stick, but still give me that room and space behind for the battery pack as well as the lights. And there we are, we turned it on. Wait until you see this in the darker room. Oh my word. Okay, we're going to flip it over. We're just going to add this striped white and red ribbon. You can also keep the jute string it came with. It does not matter. I'm going to hot glue it and tape it to the back. Back to the front. Now I want to make this a little bit more 3D, although you can definitely leave it like this and it will look gorgeous. We're going to add some of these evergreen picks. I do get these on Amazon, but you can certainly use the ones from Dollar Tree. We're going to hot glue them facing one way all the way around in between each white poinsettia. And then we're going to add some of these red berries, again from Dollar Tree. And we're just going to add a little bundle on top of the just that little end portion of the evergreen picks. How gorgeous is this wreath form? I don't even know if to call it a wreath or a wood round. It doesn't matter. It's gorgeous. It's 3D. It's textured, and I love it. Let me know what you think down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we are going to take this beautiful snowy barn gift bag. Again, a great find at Dollar Tree for $1.25. Holy moly. Okay, we're going to cut off the front. It's going to look messy, but then we're just going to nicely straight cut all of the edges to remove that excess paper. And I did rip it just a little bit when I was removing it from the other part of the bag, but I made it work. You can't even see it, but I did rip it. I wanted to tell you. All right, Dollar Tree has these canvases in the Dollar Tree Plus area. They come two in a pack and they are large, and I'm going to use one of them because it will be perfect for the size of the gift bag that we're working with. We're going to remove the plastic and we're going to just paint using the same paint color from earlier in the Crimson Waverly, and we're going to paint the edges, maybe about 2 inches from the edges as well as the sides of the canvas. Once dry, we are going to place the gift bag right on top. So we're creating a little frame for the design. Now, I don't want the edges to have that crisp, straight line. So once I had it hot glued in place, we're going to take more paint on my paintbrush, and then we're going to just soften those lines by giving it a little bit of a distressed dry brush technique on the edges. This is going to bring everything together. It's kind of like sliding onto the frame. You can skip this part though. If you like the way it looks with the straight sides and straight edges, please leave it. I wanted to just blend it in a little bit more. So I'm just going to use, again, the same brush, just dry brush a little bit of paint onto the design. And this is going to blend everything in together. I'm going to give that a few minutes to dry, and while that's drying, we're going to take these frosted picks from Dollar Tree, fluff them up a bit, cut off the excess stem, and then we're going to join them together to create a little swag. We're going to use a leftover piece of a white towel from Dollar Tree. We're going to hot glue it in place, roll it around a few times, tighten it as we go, and then just securing it with more hot glue. And this is what's going to go at the top of the design. Now, you can leave it the way it was, of course. I just felt like it needed something. It also had the 2 little holes for where the string was hanging from, but I added a poinsettia from Dollar Tree right there in the center, and I think it's stunning. Oh my word, I love the way this turned out. I love the colors. It's so cozy and Christmassy. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we are going to start with this wooden blank from Dollar Tree. You can find this in the crafting aisle year-round. It is very rough to the touch when you first buy it, so I'm going to sand it smooth, especially on the edges, remove all splinters, and then wipe it and dust it very well. We're going to give it 1 coat of white Waverly chalk paint, and you can use any color, of course, and we're just going to put it to the side and let it dry. We're going to create a little vignette that you can use to place anywhere in your home during the Christmas season. This gorgeous gift bag, again from Dollar Tree, has this little stacked gift little portion, and it has that 3D look, same as the first craft. And we're going to carefully remove it once again using my little spatula, leaving those little tabs where they are. You can also leave them just like this, but I wanted to attach it to cardboard. This is on a thinner side cardboard, just so that we can make it a little stronger and sturdier. All right, so once we trace it, I'm going to use my blade knife, and I'm just going to cut it off and making sure that it fits nicely and flush behind the design. So once again, I'm going to use hot glue and just hot glue it to the surface using the little tabs. All right, we're going to flip it over and we're going to add 3 of these tumbling tower wood blocks from Dollar Tree. You can find these in their toy aisle. And we're just going to use 3 of them because it's going to help us keep this gift stack nice and straight up. That way it's not going to flap around on us. Once the board was dry, we're going to hot glue the whole thing right there in the center. And this is what it should start to look like. How cute. Dollar Tree has tons of these bottle brush Christmas trees, and these have little tiny ornaments. I'm just going to remove the base, mark where I need to drill, and then using my drill, I'm just going to drill a hole and then attach the little tree with hot glue right there. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And this is what it should start looking like. You can leave it like this, actually. It's so cute. All right, we're going to add a couple of these small little evergreen picks from Amazon. Right there, 2 of them to the front. And then we're going to add a red poinsettia from Dollar Tree right there in the center. And I think that brought everything together. Love this little vignette. Again, this is something you can add to any little corner in your home for added Christmas decor. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. I'm going to take this medium size round one, remove the top from it, and put it to the side temporarily. Using my computer, I printed out the story of the birth of Jesus from the Bible on regular copy paper, cut off the excess white trim, and then I'm cutting just a couple of sentences per strip. We want to insert all of these strips inside the clear ornament, and I want to make sure that there's at least less amount of white paper around it. So we're going to start inserting it, and we want to make sure that the letters are actually what it's sticking out to the outside. So that's what you can see. So I'm going to do one by one and making sure that I am adjusting as needed as I'm placing them inside. I'm going to insert the last one here, and then I'm just going to adjust as needed, but I'm not too worried about where they're at. I'm going to place that little hook right back on the ornament, and then using my Cricut, I printed out the phrase, "Unto us a child is born," which you can find in the book of Isaiah. And I'm just going to use my Cricut, of course, because it's just better and cleaner. But of course, you can use whatever else you want or leave it just like this. All right, so we're just going to put it on some clear transfer paper or tape, I should say, and then we're just going to place it in front of the ornament. We just want to make sure that it's nice and even, and I picked the red because I think it's going to have a nice contrast between the white paper and the clear ornament and look very nicely. So we're just going to transfer it just like you see here. Now the ornament is round, obviously, and so we have to go little by little, step by step, because I don't know if you understand, like if it's flat, you can just do it all at once, but because it's round, I'm just taking one little step at a time. That way it's not going to wrinkle on me. All right, so once it's attached, I just want to make sure that it's pressed nice and firmly onto the ornament, and it's not going to come off anywhere. All right, so we're going to take this striped ribbon that I got at Walmart last year during the Christmas season. We're going to cut it in half, and we're going to make a nice bow. I just like to loop them like an awareness ribbon, scrunch it in the middle, and we're just going to tie it with some white jute string, and then we are going to hot glue it to the top of the ornament. You don't have to add the bow. Of course, you can add whatever else you want to it, greenery, whatever else. We're going to cut the ends in an angle, and then we're going to hot glue them to make sure they're nicely placed where I want them. These little tiny ornaments are so cute, and I thought the red with the golden glittery were going to look very nicely. And then the leftover ribbon, we're just going to place through the loop and use this to be able to hang up the ornament. This not only will look great in your home, but I think it would make a beautiful gift for your friends and loved ones. I love the concept. It's fresh, it's clean, and it's just so beautiful with the red, white, and gold tones. Well, let me know what you think of this one down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we are going to take this ornament, clear again, and it has more of a flat, round shape to it. We're also going to take this mesh ribbon also from Dollar Tree in the red, and we're going to cut different strips. It doesn't matter what size they are. I cut them about maybe 3 inches, something like that. I'm going to keep cutting as much as I need, and we're going to start inserting them inside of the ornament. And the more you put in, the darker the deep color is going to be. So I want to put as many as I can because I want this to be a Santa theme ornament. So I want that red to really be deep. So I'm going to keep adding until I like what I see. I think it already looks gorgeous. It has such a glittery, shimmery tone to it. It's just stunning. So you can leave it just like this and it'll already be beautiful. We're going to take it a step further. We're going to take some Dollar Tree vinyl. They have these year round, and I'm going to take some in the black tone. This is what we're going to use to create a belt for our Santa suit. So I'm just going to cut it in maybe about 1/2 inch. And then we're just going to cut it and remove the back and place it right there in the center. I do not need it to go all the way around, but if you want that, you can, of course. And if you have a Santa belt, you gotta have a Santa buckle. So we're going to use vinyl again from Dollar Tree in this golden glittery tone. Make it nice and square, and then use my X-Acto knife and carefully cut another square inside. The key here, you just want to make sure that all the sides are about the same size as possible, of course. Then you want to remove it like a sticker and place it right there in the front, just like where the belt buckle would go. All right, so for here, you can leave it just like this. I think it will look so cute, but I want to take it a further step. Of course I am. And I'm going to make a little Santa hat. So I'm going to take this red felt fabric from Dollar Tree, hot glue it all around the top, just a little step by step. And then we are going to keep it in that height because we want to tilt it after we scrunch it on the top. We are going to use just this little white rope that I had left over from another project. And we're just going to tie it on the top. And then we're going to tilt it to the side. But first we're going to add a little bit of a, like a white little fuzzy part in the bottom edge. So I'm going to cut a piece of this Dollar Tree white towel and we're going to wrap it around all the way around. And I like how fuzzy it got. So this worked out perfectly. Once attached, cut off the excess and then we're going to tilt it just like this, hot glue it in place, and we're going to add a white pom-pom right there. Dollar Tree carries pom-poms, but I got these at Walmart and they have a ton variety of colors in a bag. We're going to loop some jute string and we are going to tie it and then hot glue it to the back. And this is how we can hang it. I love this ornament. I think leaving it just with the belt, I think would have been gorgeous, but I think adding the hat just adds so much texture and fun details. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we are going to take another one of those medium-sized clear ornaments, remove the top, and similarly to what we did with the Santa ornament, we're going to do the same thing with this beautiful green tone mesh ribbon, cut it into strips, and we're going to stuff it right in. I'm using my scissors on this one because it's a little deeper, and I just want to make sure that it gets to the corners, but then I just use my fingers, so you can go ahead and do that if you want. So I want to make sure that I add as many as I want to make sure it's nice and filled. This is going to be a Grinch themed ornament. Such an easy project. Let me show you. We're going to take this printout. I got this from a free PDF from Pinterest. I cut it to size. I printed it to size, and then we're going to use carbon paper to trace it. Now, I could have used my Cricut machine, and I think it would have been so much easier, but I wanted to show you a different way. I've used this many times before. This is just a great alternative if you do not have a cutting machine. You just want to trace it, and then you just want to cut it. Now, I'm cutting it a little thicker than what the original printout is because, of course, I want it to be a little thicker and be able to manage it nicely. I'm going to cut the mouth, the eyes, the eyebrows, and a tiny little nose for the Grinch, and then we're going to attach it just like we would any stickers, removing the back and placing one part at a time. All right, so I'm going to add the nose and look how cute he looks. Oh my word. Okay, so we want to keep it pretty typical Grinch. So we're just going to make a nice little bow here with black ribbon and and green ribbon. And then we're just going to again tie it in the center, cut off the excess ribbon and hot glue it to the back. Although you can keep it without the bow, of course, but I just thought it needed something. I'm going to add the excess ribbon here just to be able to hang it. And what an adorable Grinch ornament you can make, and this would be a great project you can do with your kiddos. What do you think of this one? Let me know down in the comments. I brought home one of each because we're going to create a lit up snowman, and I can't wait for you to see how cute this turns out. I removed the paper or the sticker from the bottom and wiped them really well. Then, as you know, Dollar Tree has all these vinyls that you can pick. They have different colors and even textures. I'm going to pick just a random orange one because it does not matter what color it is. I'm going to take my snowflake hole puncher. I get this in a set of 6 on Amazon, and I do have it in my Amazon store if you want to check it out. It is linked in the description box. I just punched several of them, and we're just going to use them as stickers and place them all over each bowl. We are going to spray it with a frosted Rust-Oleum spray paint. And I want to have these little snowflakes just kind of see-through. So I'm just going to add them here and there, alternating in what side it is. And that way it's going to be nice and even. And then we're going to take them outside and we're going to spray them again with the Rust-Oleum frosted glass spray. One heavy coat was sufficient and it did dry pretty quickly. Once dry, I brought them back inside and they're nice and frosted and I love it. Now we're going to remove all the little snowflakes very carefully, of course, revealing that see-through portion. This snowman ornament is from Dollar Tree, and this is the second craft I use it in. I'm going to remove the hanging piece as well as everything from the hat except for the black portion. Although it's really cute, I want to create my own style and make the embellishments a little larger. I'm going to cut off some of this ticking stripe ribbon to wrap it around the top of the hat, as well as a rounded one for the top portion. Hot glue it in place as well as the other piece. Although you could have kept the previous decorations, I think making them a little bit more grand and larger really goes a long way. So I'm just going to add a few of these picks, a couple from Dollar Tree, and then these little vase fillers that are great. Here's the difference between what it came with and what I added. And I think it makes a big difference, although you can leave it as is. These little fairy lights, I'm sure you're familiar with because I use them a lot. I get them on Amazon in a pack of 18, and they are in my Amazon store as well. They're so good for crafting, especially for Christmas. I'm also going to use alien tape, and we're going to secure the battery pack inside each bowl. And because the lights are wired, they do not come out or slide off, which is great. The alien tip I do get on Amazon, and it is also in my Amazon store if you want to check it out. But I love it. It has such great adhesive to it. We're going to add the snowman head right on top of the small one on the bottom. And then we're going to place the little bowl on top of the larger one. We're going to cut off a couple of pieces of this fabric that has a nice, kind of like a plaid look. I'm going to make it longer by hot gluing 2 pieces and wrapping it around like a scarf. And I want it to be extra long for this snowman. Look how cute he looks. And we're going to place it right there. Oh my word. It is so cute. Wait until you see it in a darker room. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to take a wine glass. They have so many selections in every size you can think of. I already had this one at home, so we're going to use it. We are going to trace it on top of some cardboard. Now, this was white cardboard, which worked great. I would rather have a white surface, so if you have regular cardboard, you can also paint it or cover it with paper or poster board. Once cut, I'm going to take some of this foam. This is just one of those cone foams from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to cut off the bottom portion about 1/2 inch thick and use it as a base so that we can start adding a couple of little things inside of it. This little tree was a little too big, so here I am just cutting it slowly but surely, making sure that I'm not cutting too much, but cutting just enough. Once I had it in the size, I'm just going to hot glue it in place. And this tiny little Santa that came with the little figurines for a Christmas village. And I'm going to add one more little greenery pick here. This one is from Amazon. Now, I should have added these fairy lights before I added everything else. It's okay. I'm going to wrap it around the tree, and I want to wrap it a little bit around Santa, making it look like Santa is hanging the lights because I think Santa can help stringing some lights on the tree. All right, we're going to leave the battery pack hanging out. We're going to add a little bit of snow inside the wine glass. A little bit goes a long way. And then we're going to add glue all around the rim and very carefully take the bottom portion and slide it in. Make sure you do not add glue where the wire is for the lights. All right, we're going to shake it around, making sure that snow is nice and spread, and add a little bit of alien tape to the back, and we're going to attach it to the back of the wine glass. That way it's not going to be seen. All right, for the middle of the glass, so that neck portion where you hold it, I'm going to wrap around some of this red ribbon from Dollar Tree. I'm going to wrap it around over and over again, secured it in place with hot glue. And then we're going to take another ribbon. Now, this ribbon is from Lowe's, I believe. We're going to make a very simple bow, loop it like an awareness ribbon, scrunch it in the middle, tie it with some string, and then we're going to tie it around the center of that middle portion. Of course, you want to fluff it as needed, and you can add whatever you want to the center of it. I didn't have any pine cones, so I'm going to add this golden bell, and I think it's so cute. We're going to hide all that glue and cardboard from the bottom using some white yarn. I'm just going to add a little bit of glue and then wrap around it all the way around. That way, again, it's just going to hide all that clumpiness from the glue and the cardboard and cutting off the excess. I added a faux battery-operated candle, and I think it's absolutely stunning. Oh my gosh, wait until you see it in a darker room. So beautiful, and it's so easy. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. I have another video here for you with tons more of Dollar Tree DIY crafts inspiration. Check it out. I'll see you later and have a blessed day. Bye.